Okay, and I think that means we're live. It's 10:30, so we're only half an hour late after our alleged start at 2200 UK.
It's 10:45 for God's sake.
Yeah, but it's 10:30 somewhere, isn't it? Probably.
No.
I mean, no.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure that's how time works. But welcome to the first late night. I feel like whispering Bob Harris. That's a reference for strictly UK people of a certain age, but still. Bob Harris in the UK, whispering because it's a late night OCC recap with co-host Core Knight and contributors Spydyr and Danton. Say hello, Spydyr and Danton.
Hello.
I'm not gonna say hello, Spydyr and Danton.
Okay, that's fine.
Boo!
Boo hiss.
Except I just did.
Except you just did. Well done. Spydyr didn't fall into the trap, and of course, always joined by Core Knight. Say hello.
Yeah, you started with me, but you introduced the other two kind of in the same sentence, so it kind of.
Yeah, well, you know, people expect you these days, don't they?
By the way, I think you can turn Spydyr up a little bit.
How do I do that? Is that on? This is the professionalism.
I can pull the mic closer to me too.
Oh, that works. That works too.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just turn you up slightly as well.
I had the mic quite away from me.
We're all going to be, drowned out by Core Knight anyway.
Yeah, no kidding.
Always.
You are. Yeah, but if someone could check the levels and check I'm actually streaming, that would be great. It looks like
that's what I've been doing.
You are streaming.
It looks like I am on my monitor screen, but still, I never know because I keep the volume off because we don't want horrible feedback. So what we're going to cover tonight? Well, we're going to look at the championships. We're going to look at the last game and the final betting of our round that we have in the OCC. I just realised my camera's off, so I should probably put that on if that's going to work.
I'm still showing your starting screen as well.
You're just behind them, so I'm watching the stream.
Transitioned. I think I unplugged the effing camera again, didn't I? Do we need a camera? We don't really need a camera for this one, do we? Might be somewhat amusing if my wife, my wife storms in now and says we've been too noisy. That's always good for a laugh, isn't it? Okay, there we go. You can see my rather yellow face. Top right. Okay, right. So yes, it's the final of the betting. So just before we go into the last round, the results are on the board there, but you can see that Spydyr and Danton are neck and neck on 50 points each. Everyone else is just behind. So Dreamless on 49. I'm next on 39. So I've got no chance to catch up. Core Knight's well last, apart from Keith and Nyberton, of course.
Yeah, when you say everyone else is just behind, Dreamland is just behind.
Yeah, okay, just Dreamland's just behind, so it's a top three situation here. And it kind of spoilers because we're having to use Spike for the last season of OCC because we weren't really quick enough last week to do it, and I was away and stuff like that. So you can see how the table actually finished, but still, it's still worth going through the matches. And without any further ado, we'll go to the first match, which was Nyberton versus Davo, and that was a 1-1. I just checked Davo's team. I don't think anyone died on that one. In fact, they did die. It's just a rookie lineman though, so that's fine. And
I think
go on.
Yeah, sorry, go on. No, carry on.
Yeah, so a rookie lino died. He had another lino MNG, and the AG5 lineman scored. So clearly, I think a development game for him. But yeah, a draw. That's quite a good result for the Chorfs, really, isn't it? Considering the amount of AG5 on Davo's team and the speed to which they move around.
Well, it's not really a good result if you consider that the Chorfs could have been champions if they'd won.
Ah.
Yep.
They did. I mean, I think they still needed to win by like 3 touchdowns or 4 or something. I mean,
right.
So even
so
if
it was a bit of a stretch.
Even if they won, 2-1, 2-1. I mean, they would have been tied for the top, but with a worse TD difference, I think.
Yeah, I mean, speaking as a sort of elf coach, I mean, the amount of blocks here, that's fantastic. I mean, just 16. I mean, Davo's blocks don't really count at all, really, but just 16 to give away all game, that's 1 a turn, essentially. Which either indicates a lot of...
the elves were doing a lot of running away.
Yeah, a lot of running away. I mean, that's reducing it to a blitz, isn't it? A turn, just to give 16 away. Did it go the full distance? This one?
Well,
I guess
mean,
it did.
There were the LOS blocks as well, right? So that's
Yeah.
even less than blitz a turn. There must have been a DACA involved where there was no one getting hit for a while.
Yeah, he must just have run away, which is completely sensible. He can't win the champ, and Davo couldn't have won the championship, so it's all about maintaining the team, really, I guess. But yeah, I mean, that was a fantastic result, and to get a draw out of that as well.
Davo was getting relegated, whatever happened, right? So
Yeah.
He had nothing to play for.
Nothing to play for. So yeah, keep the squad safe. I mean, no armor breaks, so the Chorfs are exactly as they were beforehand. I don't think anyone levelled, although we'll have a look at the proper teams in Blood Bowl 2 in a moment. So, betting wise then, did anyone bet on a draw for that one?
One person did.
And it was Spydyr.
And it was you.
It was me? Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, it was
It
you.
was not Spydyr, yeah.
Good news.
I decided not to bet on any of the correct answers this week because you wouldn't have given me the points for them anyway. So
it would have been hard to do if you were actually on the stream, Spydyr. So
I mean, the thing is, what happened was when he gave you points, he took them away. So actually, not getting them right is probably a better result.
It's better, score, right? Absolutely.
Yeah. No negative points. Yeah.
Negative points. Yeah.
I think we need a points audit, Ethel.
Yeah, well, someone else can watch all the streams then and find out if I did add up correctly. I mean, maths, as you probably all know, isn't my absolute strong point. So
adding one each time is kind of hard.
It's kind of hard. It's a lot of pressure. You don't realise what
it
pressure
is. 1 + 1 = 0.
Yeah. Okay, next
if it's
game.
Spydyr, anyway.
Next game.
Yeah.
Spydyr versus Southern Sentinels, the Brett off, and this was a 2-0 victory for Varus. So well done, Varus. Which I think kept him up, maybe. I can't remember. But yeah.
No. And he had already decided to re-roll.
Yeah,
so.
he did say it, didn't he? Actually,
he didn't.
Yeah, this was a fight between 8th and 9th place. So
So the important thing here, though, is that both Spydyr and Knight actually bet on Varus, so that means you've got to remove a point for Spydyr and give a point to Knight.
Damn it! I got it right, man.
Okay, so in all honesty, because I can't trust anyone anymore. Who got points for this?
Me and Spydyr got a point, so give us both a point.
Okay,
or alternatively, you could remove a point randomly from someone.
Edges, edges Spydyr into the lead. I mean, really, Knight. I should be more happier that Spydyr's winning because it's less chance that I'm ever going to meet Spydyr in the flesh than Danton, so I won't have to buy him a beer.
It's another beer for a person across the Atlantic. Yeah.
One of these years, I might make it over there for a tournament.
Well, if you do, then yeah, beers are on me, and maybe
the Worlds or something. Yeah.
I was actually set to go with Brian 2's team to Worlds the year that COVID hit, when everything got canceled.
Oh, okay.
But how about Worlds? I mean, this is something maybe for later. But how you set for Worlds next year, Spydyr? Have you given it any thought?
Alicante, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably not, because we're building a new house, so our money's tied up.
Yeah. Fair enough. That might be expensive, mightn't it, to build a new house? So.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Absolutely. But Danton, are you thinking about it?
Definitely, I want to go. And I should be living in Europe by that time. I should be moving back to Europe before the end of this year.
Right.
So it won't be like a huge trek for me. And first option, I'd love to go as part of an Irish team, but obviously, depending on I guess organization and people going in general, that would be my first option.
Not as part of an Argentinian team. I'm sure there might be enough Argentinians in Europe to make a...
Yeah,
there might be one or two who would go, yeah. But no, I mean, I'm quite active in the Irish community now. Playing the Irish league.
Yeah.
So getting to know a few of those guys.
Muscling in,
and
Danton.
Well, I mean, I did come top of my division, but we still have one more season to decide. They've got like a 3-season cycle to decide who's the league champion. So gotta do the business next season.
But sure, Danton, aren't we all a bit Irish?
Some of us more than others.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely not with that attempt at whatever that was.
I deliberately didn't do the accent. We talked about doing the accent before, and I didn't want to. I don't do it anymore. I do it in my head when I'm in Ireland, but I obviously don't say it out loud because I don't want a kicking. Okay, moving on from accents. Next game is 2-1. Wolfbark versus Luke 4-4-4-4-4-4-4. So maybe this wasn't so much of a surprise, except that Wolfbark's obviously been toying with not playing again next season. But I think he did end on a 1, didn't he? So
no, didn't he say he was loving it and was definitely coming back the next season?
Yeah.
I think he ended he started the season saying he was hating it, but I think by the end he was a bit more into it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, something like that. I don't know what changed his mind, but
perhaps
he was quite fed up at one point.
But perhaps more importantly, who bet on a Wolfbark win?
Everyone except Spydyr.
Oh,
controversial.
Mm-hmm.
Oops.
In fact,
back up.
And Niblin gets a point as well because he bet on Wolfbark.
Well done, Niblin. Niblin's on 2. And actually taking him off the thing there, but I'll put him back on now. Let's move into that bit of space. Okay. Wow. It's going right down to the wire. That's what we like. Okay. Right. Next game then is, and this was a championship decider game, so this was a big one. This is the Elder Children, Guido Baggins 1 versus Raspel Sponfices by Raspel 2. So the Lizards won that one, and that denied really Guido the win, which I don't think he was that gutted because he obviously would have been massively gutted, but I don't think it was a dicing. I think it was just
he'd already decided he was leaving,
yeah.
or dropping the team. Obviously, he would have preferred to do that as the reigning champion, but not to be.
I think we were all curious to see if he did win it, if he would change his mind and bring the team back or not to defend.
Yeah,
I mean,
we'll never know.
We'll never know. And what might have altered his opinion was his team got pretty battered in this game as well. It's fair to say. So,
yeah. I think didn't he start off the season quite well and then end it kind of badly?
I think
since playing RTSDs, lost a bunch of players and generally got beaten up.
It's certainly spiraled since then, definitely. And the dice haven't been kind. But it's always been a strong team with the one turner. You can never write them off, right? But. Yeah, it just didn't work out this time, which is a shame because I would have liked to seen a High Elf coach win. I don't think the High Elf coach has won for a couple of seasons, if ever.
I think
in
the
Blood Bowl
last
2, but it's been a while.
No,
I think.
no. In Blood Bowl 2, Andy Davo won back-to-back OCC titles with High Elves, but you're right that it was quite near the start of the OCC in Blood Bowl 2. And in Blood Bowl 1, I think they won it at least 3 times. I think Pidpad won it once with High Elves, and there were a couple of other winners with High Elves, I think. There was a guy called a Frost B, who I seem to remember won it with High Elves.
Yeah, I remember that name.
And also actually Stigger. I don't know if you remember Stigger, who had that horrific. Yeah. He had a horrific chaos team for a long time that got up to about 2,400, if not higher than that.
Didn't they win it 4 times in a row or something like that? Something
no, he won it He won it once with chaos, and then he changed to High Elves, and he won it once with High Elves.
Good, versatile coach. So yeah, I mean, Russell's team hasn't really changed. Nothing changed. His Crocs leveled, but yeah, that's it. So I think a lot of people would have bet on Guido there because he's been an active member of the chat, and I know him quite across a few leagues, so I did want him to win. I didn't want him to win OCC because I know him, inverted commas.
The only person who didn't bet for him to win was Nibbenen, who bet for him to draw. So literally no one bet on Raspel.
The most important thing, though, Ethel, is that you didn't just call him Guido.
I thought I'd practice. So Guido. If he was British, though, he would be called Guido. That's how he would.
If he was British, that wouldn't be his name. That's not British. There's no way that anyone in Britain is called that.
Yeah, exactly.
Mate,
not unless they want not unless you want your kid to have the piss taken out of him.
But you don't. There's some posh areas of Britain where Guido is the least pretentious name in Britain. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about that. It's there's. I imagine there's a child within 5 miles of where I'm sat right now called Guido. I imagine. But anyway,
maybe Dido, but not Guido.
All right, I'll conduct a search of primary schools tomorrow, and this show will be from a police cell next week. But yes, I'll do that. Okay, and the final game is Chorse versus Nurgle, and the question on everyone's lips is: did everyone die? And sadly, I think the answer is no. And it was a win to
actually
Ant-Man 2-1.
Quite a few Chorfs did get battered, though.
Oh,
yeah, MNGs all over the. There's a lot of MNGs.
Oh,
that is why I said I hope I match up against Ant-Man in week 1.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the Smack Talk thread,
I would say he's given someone more or less a bye, hasn't he?
Well, he's still got both of his claw pieces, but the 3 that he's going to be missing are 3 big ones, especially if he goes against
another bash.
The other Chaos Dwarf team, or against my Lizards, or against the Chaos even.
It'll be interesting because it's basically 3 Hobgoblins instead of 3 leveled up Chorfs.
Yeah.
What would be ironic, though, is if he ended up matching up against Raspel's Lizards again, back to back.
Yeah, that'd be a good matchup. But
but he played, didn't he play the Jump All Stars? So?
Yeah, he played. Last game was against Jump All Stars. But yeah, I mean, Raspel.
Oh, you're right. Raspel played against the Elves. You're right. Sorry about that. I was thinking we were still talking about Raspel.
But Raspel would love a matchup against this Chorf team with all those players missing. He'd be really happy with that. As would any Lizard team, wouldn't they, Spydyr? So yeah, absolutely.
I think we're all very, very glad that RTSD got relegated, though.
Yeah. That's horrendous. Look, I mean, just look at that. It's absolutely awful. Absolutely.
And he's at 11 players for the next match, and he's carrying 17-20. So that's still quite a bit of TV for 11 players.
Okay, but last betting then. This is a decider.
I'm afraid it doesn't decide anything at all. Nibbenen is the only person with a point.
Yeah, Nibbenen gets 3 points.
Late rally.
Easy overall win.
3.
Yeah.
Okay, nearly caught Keith. So, that means that the winners of the betting then for this season 24 of the OCC is a joint win, Spydyr versus Danton. Now, can you think of a creative tiebreak, Courtnite, in the next couple of seconds while I'm speaking that we can?
Okay, the tiebreak could be who wants to come to London or Seattle to pick up a beer, but I guess neither of them is particularly close to either of you.
Or the tiebreak could be, the points that disappeared from Spydyr.
yeah.
Or the head-to-head that we just did.
Well,
allegedly.
I put them back though, so that's fine. But yeah, okay. Well, you're both winners, and you can collect your pint at any point. If you go to Seattle, then it'd be Courtnite dipping into his deep pockets.
I was going to say, I'm going there for Easter, not for a long time. So
you are there this week?
No, May.
Oh, May.
By the time I actually get over to meet you, Ethel, I mean, you're going to owe me like a whole week's worth of meals and points and everything, aren't you?
Yeah, it'd be fine. That's what credit cards are for, isn't it? So, I didn't...
Easy enough for you. I don't drink, so you don't have to worry about it.
Even better. So Danton, I didn't mention that any meals will be at like McDonald's or something like that, or equivalent, or a packet of Tato crisps. There you go.
Or what you just need to do is you need to time it for a book fair, and then he'll expense it on his company. Allegedly.
Allegedly, I will. Do
I didn't realize that inflation had hit your pocket that hard.
Well, I've got three. No. I've got 3 kids, so yeah, my pockets always hit hard.
You can you can just PayPal me my first house payment if you want.
Okay.
To be fair, it'll be in dollars from pounds. That shouldn't be too much. You know.
Yeah. I don't think the rate's gone quite down that badly. You know, if it kicks up a bit more, then
the Argentine peso yet.
Yeah, if it kicks up a bit more and there's nuclear war, then yeah, maybe I'll send the payment over just then, because it'll be fine. But
there is one more thing. At the beginning of the season, we did pick our top 3 in the champs.
Oh, okay. So this could be the tiebreaker.
At least me, Ethelred, and D did. I'm not sure if D. I assume D is Danton.
Yeah,
but it might be Dreamland.
Oh,
it would be me.
I think it was.
I think it was me.
How many of the top 3s do you think any of us got right?
So where is this in the predictions thread? Is it?
It's in the top OCC divisions channel. Which you can all see, but only the things can see. Only so no one except for us can see.
Okay. I can't. I'm not looking now because I'm looking at the.
Well, I can tell you to end the excitement that none of us got anything. So no tiebreaker there.
Everyone had gone for Andy Davo.
We've gone for Davo, hadn't we? Believe the hype.
To be in the top 3, and RTSD and Andy Davo. Yeah.
I picked 2 of the 3 right. What are you talking about?
Nice. There is a date stamp on each post.
So wait, go on, go through them, Corner. Who did you pick? See how you did.
Okay, so I picked number 3. I picked RTSD.
Right.
At number 2, I picked Wolfbark.
Right.
And at number 1, I picked Andy.
Right.
So I got none of them right, but they were actually all together in the middle. So I picked, instead of 1, 2, and 3, I picked 6, 5, and 7.
5, 6, and 7. Yes.
Yeah.
Or 6, 5, and 7. Yes. Okay. And who did Danton go for?
Danton went for in third place. Oh, do you want to go then?
Go ahead, Danton.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still trying to actually remember if this was me or if it was Dreamland, because
say it was Dreamland then.
I mean, I think the one thing that gives it away that it was me and not Dreamland is that one of the picks was a Bretonian team,
right? Yeah.
And I think that would be over Dreamland's dead body to pick that. So I think I went first by the looks of it, for RTSD, second for the Bretts, and third for Andy Davo.
No, you went for second for Nibbenen. The Bretts were your 4th place choice.
Oh,
sorry, that's my terrible handwriting. It's a 4.
All right, yeah, no, that makes sense. Well, was I the only one to pick a 4th place team?
Yeah, you couldn't decide. So like the 3 and 4 was both of them.
And what was my expert pick?
You went for Wolfbark.
I think I just copied what you got. I think.
Yeah, it was exactly the same as me. But
no, you went for Andy Davo first. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, we're all losers, which we kind of knew already.
To be fair, I would have at least had Andy and RTSD in the top 3. I don't know who my third one would have been, but probably wouldn't have been any of the 3 that were there, most likely.
No.
Maybe potentially Raspel, just because of my love for lizards, but.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't think I would have put Ant-Man above Nibbenen in the Chorf stakes. I don't think.
Yeah. I wouldn't have either.
I think Nibbenen. I thought at the beginning of the season was a stronger Chorf team on paper, but it doesn't always fall to the strongest team, does it? So,
I mean, the points difference between first and 4th is just 2 points.
Yeah,
and that could easily be just one dice deciding a game that made that difference.
Absolutely. I mean, it's really, the top 4 are really close, aren't they? I mean, 18, 17, 6, and 2 on 16. I mean, that's pretty close. I can't be bothered to look about previous seasons, but yeah, pretty close. And what was nice is that it went down to the final game, as well.
Absolutely.
There was quite a few different combinations of players.
There was a season where the winner was decided by the third tiebreaker, I think.
Right. Wow.
So
There was talk, wasn't there? I think on the OCC channel that if 1 and 2 are equal across all the tie breaks in only the champs, then they play a friendly, and whoever wins the friendly wins the OCC, which would have been kind of nice to see.
Yeah.
I think that only I can't remember where the ruling is, but I think that's only for the champs, isn't it? Where that happens, but after all the different combinations that you use, I think for other divisions it's D6 off, but for the champs it is an actual game, which would have been just quite nice to have seen, to be honest. But
in my opinion, I'd say if they just have the exact same points and no tiebreak, don't worry about tiebreakers. Just if they both have the same points, let them play it off in a friendly.
Yeah, because the tiebreakers are not. I mean, at least you know what the tiebreakers are, so you can kind of play towards them. But generally, it would be better if there was a tie between two teams. They should play each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm of a mind to let it be settled on the pitch, rolling dice.
Yeah, absolutely. The only point I disagree with that, I think, Spydyr, is because it is a sport. I would always include touchdown differential because it is a sport at the end of the day, allegedly. So that would
true.
If that is the same, then yeah, absolutely go to a game. But
I mean,
that's just my opinion.
I'm a fan of tiebreakers because it's part of the overall strategy, right? While you're playing the season as well, you're looking at the different, potential tiebreakers. But I would add head-to-head, I think, as the first tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Because which OCC doesn't do, because then if both teams are tired but one beat the other one, then to me, they should take it.
Yeah. I think it's worth pointing out that in the RPS, which is the league I run, that is the first tiebreak is a head-to-head result. But
I like head-to-head as the first tiebreaker.
Yeah, it's just fair, I think, because if someone beats someone else over the course of the season, then surely they should have the bragging rights of being a better coach, right? But anyway, Spydyr, I don't know how much you're into football, but what do they use tie breaks there? And do you know what they are? Or if you're not into football, then just say. But
they do, and it's
rarer,
basically,
isn't it? Because
it's Okay, wait. Are you both talking about the same football?
I mean,
American football.
American football. Okay. I didn't want to say American football because Spydyr's from the US, so to him it's football. To us, it's American football.
I knew what I knew what you were saying. Where you were going? It's actually the same as much as can be the same that we use in the OFL that Corn Knight and Danton are in. Because
I was about to say that Spydyr definitely knows what those tiebreakers are because I bitched at him about them before because they're the same as AFL.
Yeah, because the OFL, that the league is made to
replicate the NFL,
to closely mimic the NFL, right? So there's definitely NFL playoff tiebreakers, and they can get pretty complicated. It kind of depends. It goes based off of the division that you're in,
right?
And it's based off a division record first, and then I believe head to head is the first tiebreaker after that if it's just between two teams.
If it's between two teams within the same division, it's head to head. If it's
that's
tie,
the only way.
If there's a tie in different, and they're in different divisions for other places, it's not head to head.
Yeah.
Then it goes to a bunch of different, more convoluted tiebreakers.
I think there's like 17 or something in the NFL, and I think
it's crazy.
Yeah, because it's a completely different league structure as well, isn't it? Because you've got three.
I think it's like 13 or 14 maybe, and the very last one is a coin flip.
Right. Yeah, because I base RPS on what the Premiership in English football, soccer, is, and that is basically goal difference and then goals scored. But I put Kaz in as well because I think it's Blood Bowl at the end of the day, and then I think it is a coin flip after that in English football. I'd have to look it up again on Wikipedia, but I think it is it is just down to a coin flip or maybe a friendly. I can't remember.
I mean, the different structure is really important because obviously in the football league you've just got a league,
a straight round robin,
everyone's
isn't it?
played everyone, round robin
twice.
Whereas in NFL you've got a bunch of smaller divisions of 4 teams who also play everyone in their whatever
is
there conference.
Is there a program? I mean, I guess there must be, but I'm not going to Google it, Spydyr. I'm just going to ask you: is there a program that sets up it's not wildcard play, but when say someone from say AFC East or whatever plays someone from a different division? Because I know from when I used to be a fan of American football, you have your normal division games, and then you play sometimes play someone outside of your division, and that's from what I remember, that's a really complicated equation to find out who you play. But I guess there's a computer program somewhere that you just put teams in, and
it's not that complicated. You play everyone in your own division twice, home and away, and then you play everyone in your conference once.
Right.
Yep.
And then you play one other game against someone in the opposite conference. Right.
Yep.
I think that's it.
And I believe that's right.
And maybe the complicated bit is so to make sure that kind of matrix of games, works. There's kind of a circular pattern to the way that the teams all play each other. You can draw it out. It looks pretty when done in the diagram.
Right.
Because
it's known years in advance. They have this scheduled out.
It's a big thing, isn't it? I mean, I guess that's different to the Premiership in English football, because that's computer generated like every season, so no one knows what the fixtures are until
the difference
May,
is though
June time.
The Premiership teams change every
season.
They do.
You're right.
The NFL franchises always stay the same. The only things, the only thing that happens is sometimes the franchise moves to a different city.
Yeah, which again,
but they still stay basically where they're like the Rams, for instance, when they were in St. Louis, they were still in the NFC West, but then they moved out to LA. They still stayed in the NFC West.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. I wish. And I always hope in Blood Bowl that structure of the NFL would be a league option, and then all you need to do is plug in all the teams that you have. So 24 teams or however many it is, you press the button, then you got the whole fixtures for the season. All right, not playing home and away because I think that'll probably be too much, but to play, everyone in your division, everyone in your conference, and then a random team. I think that would be, and then to playoffs, that would be a really good structure. And one day I hope to run a league based on that structure, because I think, that's the history of. But you've got it with OFL already, haven't you, Spydyr?
We do, except the only thing we don't have is the one random game.
Right.
But we've got where you play everybody in your conference and everybody in your division a second time. But it takes some extra work. We have to you play everyone in your conference first, which is a division of 12, and you play your 11 conference mates.
Sure.
And then after that, we have to create new competitions of 4 where you get your 3 division mates a second time.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's quite a clever way of doing it, if you ask me.
Yeah.
So it can work. It just takes a lot of work from the admins to get it all set up. And
so how many teams do you have in OFL?
48. We have 4 conferences with 12 teams in each conference.
Okay.
And then of those 12 teams within each conference, there's 3 divisions with 4 teams each. So there's an AFC North, a South, and a Central, an NFC, a WFC, and then LFC, which is
LFC,
the European League. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The last time I played in OFL was actually Blood Bowl 1. I have never played in it in Blood Bowl 2, but there it was run 100% with peer-to-peer. Right, so it didn't even use the in-game leagues at all.
There's more functionality, wasn't there, in Blood Bowl 1 for random stuff?
There is, and we were able to carry most of that over. We have free agents still, but we have to use the marketplace in Blood Bowl 2, which actually works pretty well.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit of extra work to transfer the players, but you can transfer players back and forth between seasons, whenever you buy a free agent. And then also the addition of skills, like for off season, you have roles where you can get, skills that a player wouldn't normally have access to, like a skeleton with claw, for instance. And I have the ability to actually do that kind of manipulation with the admin tool that I have.
Yeah, that's a really good. It's a really good format because it's just interesting and different to how most other leagues are run. But
it's one of my favorite leagues I've ever met.
yeah,
And a fun thing on a side note to that is we also have Scout, where you can scout players, and once your player, if you've scouted them and spent a scout flag on them, when they get to 6 SPP and level, you can either boom or bust or nothing. And I busted with one of my Amazon Blitzers, and the bust roll ended up adding loner to her. So she was a block dodge loner, but I actually rolled a 6-5 on my skill up. So now she's an Edge 4 loner, and I decided to keep her because of that. And then she ended up rolling a move and doubles for guard. So she ended up being a really nice piece, but she's
with
got loner.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting, right?
That's really cool because that's like essentially adding how something which has always been lacking in Blood Bowl 2 and to a certain extent Blood Bowl 1 is like house ruling stuff. But that just makes things interesting and much more fun from the off, doesn't it?
Yeah, I quite like the idea of getting the bust of there's a tree man one, so you get take root, which I was looking at it when I was rolling a pro elf catcher, and it would be kind of fun to have a pro elf catcher with like Blodge taking root in the middle of a field.
Yeah, imagine.
I mean,
imagine.
I was going to say, there's no way you can keep that.
Well, and that's the cool thing is you have to keep it at least until they take a permanent injury or they hit 16 SPP. So if like for instance my Amazon Blitzer rode the loner, I couldn't just drop her until she at least got to 16 and then it took a permanent injury. Then you can drop her if you want, or you can choose to keep her like I did. But I was going to say, imagine a war dancer with really stupid. Or take root or something
wild
like
animal.
that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, wild animal, exactly.
Yeah,
it just makes for some interesting potential combinations.
Absolutely.
What if you boom, then what, you get a doubles roll, or how does that work?
So if you boom, you get an extra skill. Or if you roll 100, a natural 100 on a boom, then you get an extra skill and you get fan favorite as well added to you. So the way it works with an extra skill, let's say if my Blitzer had gotten the extra skill, I would get to add any normal skill to her. So I could have added, say, guard through my tool, and then I take my actual skill up in game. As she progresses, she would still get her normal allotment of skills, but she would always have that extra skill of guard. So when she hit legendary, for instance, instead of having 6 skills, she would have 7 skills.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
But you still have to pay for the skill that you get. So I would have had to pay the 20K for the guard, even though.
But yeah, that's totally worth it, though, right? So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and cool. Is fan favorite actually in the game then, Spydyr? It just doesn't come out.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. The only way you can get it is through the admin tool that I have.
Right.
Yeah, I had a fan favorite pro elf catcher in my OFL team because I won the league once.
It's actually, if you win CCL, that's a lesser known reward that you get that people either overlook or don't realize. Yeah. But if you win CCL, then the next season you can pick one player on your first team to have fan favorite.
Oh, okay.
And if you play for 40 games, you get to keep it. So for another, if you play that team for 40 games, the next season you'll get another fan favorite on one team, and you can do that as long as the player's alive, or if the player dies, do you lose it?
You lose it. Yeah, the player has to survive, and the team has to play. So for instance, when I won in season 25 with my Kimry, season 26 I gave it to a Tomb Guardian, and he survived, and I made the games. So season 27, I was able to give it to another player on my team, and I carried it for 3 or 4 seasons before he finally lost it.
Excellent. Yeah, that's good. So I didn't realize if you win CCL, then you can put your team back into CCL.
No, it's not the same team.
Oh. Yeah, it's another. It's a new team. You just pick
whatever
whatever player on it you want.
Got you.
Yeah.
Cool.
I actually just played first game of the season today with Kislev, and first half against Orcs, they killed 3 of my team.
Well, instant restart. Yep.
Well, yeah, I still won 1-0, but I don't know if I'm going to restart because I lost a catcher, which was a bummer, and 2 linemen. But
the linemen you don't care about.
Yeah, linemen
are
fine.
Catcher was a bummer.
What start did you go with, Danton?
Went with the Bear, Blitzer, 2 catcher, 3 reroll.
Nice.
But I don't know. I might just play with it for a bit and just see what happens.
Another game or two at least and see how it goes.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because I'll have 3 loner linemen who I can just stick on the LOS, and I was able to buy the Apo, so we just see.
Yeah, certainly for
And
the next game.
catch is not even that expensive.
No, not really. 9
Anyway,
quid.
we haven't actually looked at we haven't looked at the coming season yet, have we?
We haven't,
Yeah,
so
we
we
need to
should do
look
that.
at
So,
the
but
team.
first we should congratulate Ant-Man properly. So
Oh yes.
well done,
Yep.
Ant-Man. Great result. As I say, decided in last game, but yeah, you took the bull by the horns and won. So well done. I don't think that was on the cards as likely because I think we all thought that Guido would have beaten the Lizards and you would have drawn against the Killer Nurgle, but you didn't. You won. So congratulations. Right.
Yeah, I mean, it was always going to be a tricky game for Guido though, because those Lizards are a well-developed Lizard team as well.
Okay, so as we get up the game, we'll have a look at this season's. I just need to get rid of that as well. Oops. One button.
Well, this upcoming season,
for the champs.
We may have to figure out a different way to do the voting because I believe Spike is supposed to be going down anytime, right? On Discord.
Yeah, I've heard that. Core Knight, have you got any updates for that for us?
No, not really. I mean, at worst, I can manually so what we used to do in RPS was we just screenshotted matchups, and I could basically set it up each week. But
yeah, you can always set up like the numbers. You do the number icon as as your emote, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the matchup.
Yeah,
or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, we can work it out if and when it goes down,
if needed.
Yeah.
I mean, it still works right now, but we'll have to wait and see how that works.
It's going to be a massive loss when it goes.
Oh,
right?
massive!
But,
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean that's what I really like about the community is all the bots and other stuff that people create to support the game.
Yep.
I mean, and to be fair to Cyanide, they're pretty pro in getting their API out there and getting people to work with it. So that is a positive for them, but amongst the many negatives, but that is something that they have been good with, is just showing the data and getting that into a usable form.
Yeah, this one's all strictly on Discord because they were not allowing
that. There's no confirmation of there being an API for Blood Bowl 3. I do remember it being either I asked it or someone asked it, and they basically said no plans at this time. So yeah, it could take a long time. Time for
the API is not part of Cyanide, right?
No,
it wasn't ever planned. It's one programmer within Cyanide who made it because he wanted to play around with APIs. Yep. So it's not something they ever promised to do, right?
Unless there's another equally generous developer who wants to devote his free time, it's not going to happen.
I think it probably will, though, just to the nature of the game. I mean, I don't think there was anything in Blood Bowl 1 or 2, really, but as Core Knight says, I think people just sort of helped the community out by adding that sort of functionality to it. So,
it was someone within Cyanide who did it, obviously, but it wasn't a manager who told someone to do it. It was a programmer who liked doing it. It was actually
on his own.
Yeah, and it was a guy who actually played Blood Bowl a bit. So I don't even know if he's still there.
Probably not. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, it looks like Blood Bowl 3 is not quite vaporware, but it's certainly been pushed back quite a lot, hasn't it? We've not really heard anything in the last couple of months. I don't think we've heard anything since this season started of OCC, right? Which is 10 weeks. So.
There's nothing official out since the last beta.
No. So yeah, I don't think we're moving over it anytime soon. But let's have a look.
I can't say much about it, but I can say they are making a lot of progress, and there's a lot of stuff being done. So
yeah, well, that's all positive.
Yes,
and that's
good.
Yeah, it's all positive. That's all I can say about it. I mean, I say that like I know more than's going on. I don't know it anymore. Spydyr knows more, obviously, and some of the people I think I know more, but they've not told me anything. But let's leave that.
Yeah, well,
let's leave that.
There's
for
a
now.
reason for that.
Yeah, yeah, and it could be the initials NDA, which is fine.
Yep, it could.
So let's have a look at the championships for season 25. This would be a good time for a break in the thing as well. But that's fine. I can add that in later. So let's look at the teams for season 25. There's only one team that hasn't joined yet, and we think they're going to join. So later we can have a look for them.
It's MB Carmack. Actually just messaged him, and he's away. He's AFK.
Right, yeah, fair enough. I mean, it is for most Europeans the big Easter holiday. I know MB Carmack's in Euroland somewhere, so so yeah, I imagine he'll be.
Isn't he Polish?
I think he is. I think possibly he is Polish.
I think he's
he's in Liverpool right now.
Oh.
London tomorrow.
All right. Well, you should meet up with him. Anyway, let's have a look at the team. So, Spydyr, you're first by the look of things. So, do you want to talk us through your Lisbon team? I'm just going to get them up here. I'm just going to move my camera, my little face. Oh God, not that one. I'll move my little face down to the bottom left, so I'm not in the way of the gold and TV. So, Spydyr, you are 2270. You got 140k in the bank. You come with a magic dome because you're a filthy lizard cheat. Your stats are 104, 48, 76, which is fantastic. Your team is, as we can see, 6 Sauruses, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 skinks and a crocs. Talk us through it.
Yeah, this is the cleanest this roster has looked in several seasons.
Yeah, absolutely it is.
Still got a few red, but those are red that you can live with. The move 4 source obviously is not ideal, but I had to keep him for a while because he was one of the only ones that had skills. I'm at the point now where I could maybe potentially think about sacking him and starting another one up since I've got my other source built up a little bit. But I think because he's stand firm, I think I still leave him as a line of scrimmage roadblock for now.
I was going to say, is he very much on the LOS?
Yeah. And he's on one of only 3 tackle pieces. That's the other reason why I'm hesitant to just sack him and replace him. Once I'm able to get another tackle piece and even more importantly a guard or 2, then I might
he's
think
got the guard as well, of course.
Yeah, there are only 2 guard pieces with him and the Crocs, so I can't cut him yet. In the skink, obviously the ball carrying skink that is armor broke, and I always forget if he's niggled. He is niggled. Yeah, he is niggled.
And move bus.
Yeah, 7-2-4-6 niggle.
The move doesn't really bother me too bad because he's sure feet. He's still gonna be move 9 pretty reliably. Yeah. So I haven't fired him at this point because I've figured for the last 2 to 3 seasons he's going to take care of himself and die at some point, but he just doesn't die.
He keeps getting on. I think I got some hits on him. I'm sure Danton and Cornight did as well, but he's still there.
Yeah. And the good thing is I've gotten the 2 other edge pieces now to replace him when he does die. So I'll keep him until he takes care of himself. If he takes another niggle or break, I probably would just replace him at that point.
Sure.
But at this point, I might as well keep him and see what happens. Having the block, it makes it really nice ball carrier to hand off to one of the others if needed.
Yeah.
I mean, like AV6 and Stunty and a niggle though. That's pretty Like it's surprising you lived that long, but also I'd be worried that like you're going to lose 200 TB of your team quite early on in the game.
And I have. There's been plenty of times where, because if he does go down, chances are he's going off the pitch.
Yeah.
And he has quite a bit. But until then, I take advantage of him. He also is really good wizard bait. I don't care if he gets lightning bolted. I keep my other edge skinks close enough around him that if he does, I can hopefully swoop in and pick the ball right back up with one of the other pieces anyway. And that keeps the lightning bolt away from Sundrop or the other 2 edge pieces. So that's another good thing with him.
Yeah. Danton, any questions about this team? I mean, you got to face them at some point, so now's your chance, I guess.
Any questions? As in, well, when's he going to fire half the team?
Yeah.
No, I mean, obviously we played each other right at the end of last season, but Spydyr didn't have much to play for, so it wasn't such a tough game for me. But
I did want to get the draw in that one though. I was trying to do that.
Oh no, I totally. I mean, you didn't roll over or just let me win. For sure, it was a competitive game. It's just that you weren't like playing as aggressively as you normally would.
Normally would have, yeah, absolutely.
We talked a little about this earlier, didn't we?
We talked about it earlier today. Yep. And Sundrop, unfortunately, I did manage to pile onto him, but
you had one
only
chance
KO'd him, and then the KO kept him safe for the rest of the game, so I couldn't even lightning bolt him.
Which is fine.
Yep.
Spydyr, I'm sure you're very happy about that.
I was absolutely happy with that. Oh, and I would like to say,
sure,
the Crocs, the move boosted Crocs, that is fairly new. I think I got the move boost on him 2 games ago, maybe.
Yeah, 2 or 3. I remember watching your stream as you picked it.
Yeah.
And
I debated it for a long time, but I finally decided to go with the move, and I haven't really fully got to appreciate it yet, but I have a feeling there's going to be some times where I'm going to be really happy I have that move boost on you.
It's definitely the right pick as I don't know if you got it like as the very first skill up, I think maybe it's not the time to take it, but as the third skill, I mean, because Croxes start to run out of decent skills after a while, so
right.
Definitely
doubles,
makes sense
absolutely.
to take.
Yeah.
And I think it'll really come in handy when he gets break tackle, which would be next, unless he rolls doubles, obviously.
Yeah, and I do remember against Stahlberg, he actually died, and you debated about using the Apo on him.
I did, yes.
Yeah, so I bet you're glad you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the only reason I did I have the move at that point, or was it just because I think it might have been because he'd leveled.
No, he already had the move, I think.
He already had the move. Okay. So he got the move the game before that, I think, then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited for the potential of what that move could bring for him.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird, but sometimes big guys, especially on lizard teams, are inverted commas fragile, and they're only fragile because they're getting hit all the time, which is absolutely their job. But yeah, I mean, this is number 8, I'm guessing, of your Croxes, but they do die because they do get hit or they get stat busted or whatever, don't they? So
they die because you stick them next.
Yeah, they're doing the job. They're doing the work, aren't they? Absolutely.
You throw them in the way.
Yeah.
Well, and the nice thing about this, and the reason why I finally decided to do the move was, in my opinion, of all the big guys, the Crocs is probably the best, if not the top 2.
Absolutely, yeah. He's
because
up there,
of
definitely
because of the move and the tail.
Yeah.
And him already having guard and stand firm, if I could get break tackle on him and put him where I want that tail and that stand firm to be, that move's going to help me get there. Oh, it's going to be so nice.
Yeah.
I've just thought of a funny double choice. You could take shadowing on a double.
You could, yeah.
Imagine the Crocs following you around as you try to move away.
No kidding.
Yeah, that'd be
horrible. Move 7's not terrible for shadowing.
No, it's not at all.
You definitely want block. Block would stand firm. So good.
No.
Stop being sensible, Danton. Come on.
I mean, ideally he rolls block and then he rolls doubles for dodge and then break tackle, and then you got a blodging break tackle.
Yeah, that'd be horrendous.
Move 7, that would be nice.
No, or diving tackle is another one.
Diving tackle's nice. I just with the move 7, I'd be more apt to put diving tackle on a Crocs. The problem with it on a Crocs is I really don't want to put the guard tail on the ground.
Yeah, but you get the choice, don't you? You don't have to diving tackle.
No, you don't have to. But if you choose to, then all of a sudden, But with move 7, it's not bad because you still have 4 movement to do after that. After you stand back up.
Yeah. At least the fact that he's bonehead means that it's not such an issue standing back up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
Absolutely. Okay. You got a bit of bank. Are you gonna get any more skinks, or are you gonna leave it as it is?
Nah.
I mean, I think it's obvious that you're gonna leave it as it is, but
yeah.
I'm
already bloated up as much as I wish I wasn't this high
Yeah,
load it up.
I guess
Adding
that's
another
new,
Skinks, just extra TV.
new Saurus money, that is, isn't it? That 140. I'm
Yeah.
guessing. In case
Well,
anyone
and not only that,
cloaks or
yeah,
whatever.
it's if I'm going to be facing a wizard pretty much every game, and at some point I'm going to lose somebody I'm going to have to replace, and I'm dealing with spiraling expenses pretty much every game. So try to keep as much bank as I can in case I have to replace somebody.
Okay. And last question really is: are you playing for the win?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's all or nothing. The only thing that would be a potential factor in that is if I'm getting destroyed in a game, even if I still had a slight chance to win, I would protect Sundrop over winning.
Yeah, Sundrop is absolutely waiting for Blood Bowl 3, isn't he, to come out?
Yes, I want him to. I want him to ride out and retire, not to be retired.
All I can say is that Sundrop is going down this season.
He's going down. Yeah. Well, let's see. It'd be a sad day, but a glorious day.
It would. If he wins me the championship and goes down in the process, I'd be okay with that trade.
Yeah. Once we look at the Vamps team as well, then we have Sundrop's
nemesis.
I don't know if it's his not his nemesis, but his equal in the Vamp team. So yeah, that's gonna be
and that guy Vamp has tackle too.
Yeah, they both have tackle, so they can both take each other on. But that's gonna be a mouth-watering clash.
Oh yeah.
Okay, we should try and stream that. Well, you'll stream it anyway, won't you, Spider? But
yes,
try and catch that one. All right, let's move next to the right then, which is Ant-Man. So he was previous season's champ, as we know, but as we discussed earlier, he is missing 1, 2, 3, 4 of his squad, and they're quite important because they're all mainly blockers. So let's go through the stats as we did for Spider's team. So he normally has 15 players. He's currently at 17-20, but Cornite, I don't know if you can do the maths in the background to see what he would be normally. But he's up there, isn't he? I think he's obviously over 2,000.
1,070.
Yeah, so...
sorry, 2,070.
Yeah, it was just over 2K.
Sorry, 2,110. I missed out the hobgoblin. I was only adding the choice.
That's fine. So yeah, he's over another plus 2,000 team. He's got the try hard, throw a rock, and get the ref cancelled event. I mean, just on this, is there anything else that you would go for as Chorfs apart from this?
Security gate.
Yeah, is that the anti-foul one?
No, security gate is the anti-riot and pitch invasion.
Ah, right. Okay. Yeah.
So that it really is what you want if you're an 8-turn grindy team. That should be that's the better choice in my opinion. This is the pixel huggy choice.
Yeah, because I mean, throw a rock and get the ref are so rare. Well, they're not that rare, but they're rarer than.
It's fear of throw a rock, basically.
Yeah, it's fear of the rock, isn't it?
Like most short teams want get the refs, don't they? They've usually got a dirty player.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
it's more the throw the rock than anything.
I mean, I have the same stadium for my humans, and to me, it's just to try and take a little bit of the variance away.
Yeah.
Like if I'm set up for a one-turner and the rock hits my one-turner,
it's all over, isn't it? I mean,
it's all over.
It's kind of
because that's never happened before, right?
Yeah. It's kind of contentious, isn't it? Because throw a rock famously isn't in Blood Bowl 2020. That's been taken out.
It's funny you should say that because I was talking to Dimmy at the UKTC.
Yeah.
And he had a one-turn stopped where his opponent was trying to one-turn as rats, and he was undead, and his front line was 2 mummies and a zombie, and obviously
it was a ghoul.
Was it a ghoul? Okay, a ghoul then. Sorry. And the new version of throw a rock, which is the ref. Officious ref or something.
Officious ref, yeah, just send someone off, don't
it? Yeah, it sent off the ghoul, so the rats didn't have anyone to push on.
The ghoul was what they were going to use to chain for the one time.
And then
it was basically rocked.
Yeah, it's the same. Like it doesn't make that much difference. It just means you don't get any perms or deaths.
Yeah, no injury.
Yeah. But it doesn't change the variance that much, right? Because you can still get pitch invasion, and pitch invasion's more
It's
likely
much worse,
to
isn't it,
knock
I'd
over
say?
your
One turner. Yeah.
your one turner than the rock, right?
Yeah, I think throw a rock basically
Well,
means that
yeah.
eventually any Blood Bowl player will die on the pitch. I mean that's what it means. That's inevitable. I think so.
The pitch invasion though can be useful for the one turner. Obviously, if it knocks over the right players, because if the back line, for example, it can open gaps up there, or
Yeah, I mean it's 3 times less likely than the rock, but it's also, if you do get a pitch invasion, it's significantly more likely to affect the players that you need for the one turn.
Right, because not only could it take your one turner out, but it could, like in the case you just mentioned, take the key player on the line of scrimmage out that you need to get your one turner.
Absolutely.
Yeah, or the player you're intending to blitz with, or there's so many ways.
Unless you're a natural one turner like Danton's catcher, then the only thing that it affects is your player.
Yeah, well, and potentially the player who has to get the ball to him.
Yeah. So I don't know. Is throw a rock good or bad? I mean, I guess that's what I'm aiming for. Is what do we think?
Well,
about...
the throw a rock's a 1 in 11 chance to take your one turner out. I mean, or less if you have less than 11 players on the pitch. But it's that max. It's always going to be a 1 in 11 chance. Whereas,
or as Dan said, maybe 2 in 11 if you've got your
your player back to get them right.
Yeah.
But the pitch invasion is normally
it's a 1 in 6 or a 2 or a 1 in 3.
Yeah, it depends if you have
modifiers,
fame or not.
Fame plus 1 or 2. So there's potential modifiers there where, I mean, if it's a 4+, then you're a 50% chance to lose your one turner or your person to get the one turner to you.
Fame 2 is pretty unlikely especially in champs
at this level. I think it's unlikely, isn't it?
It's almost impossible. There's quite a few teams where the fan factor makes it impossible to get fame +2.
Personally, I'm kind of torn on rock. I mean, I like it when it happens to my opponent, like greatly, and if it's a permanent or a death, then that's even better. Not so keen when it happens to me, obviously, but it's kind of Blood Bowl in a nutshell, isn't it? It's so random, but it does massively affect a game, which I guess, depending on how you view the game, that's how you're going to feel about that.
I mean, a Fisher's ref is pretty similar, but without the death, basically.
Yeah, I think a Fisher's ref is probably a better version of a rock because there's no horrendous death. No,
I like death. I think death is an important part of Blood Bowl. No, seriously, I think one of the worst things in Blood Bowl is high TV teams that protect their players and maybe don't, and like games where players don't want to really play because they want to protect their players, and those things, things like rock mean you can't protect your players all the time. You have to put people on the pitch.
Yeah.
If you're going to use them at some point, and at some point they can get rocked. However much they might have regen or an APO
with the new drafting rules though, Cornite, is that only apparent in permanent long-term ladders though, like Col CCL, where rock kind of prevents the death squad murder teams getting too popular?
We'll see how that works in the 2020 rules, because also the change to the permanent injuries and the injury table is pretty big too. So the fact that most CASs are actually more likely to be something bad, that like niggles adding to the chance of death, and all that's kind of that bit of the rules is interesting. We'll see how that goes, but I don't like the idea of a not necessarily good coach being able to make a legend player just because he protects his team.
Yeah, just because he grinds through the games, kind of thing.
Yeah, legends should be something that you earn through your brilliance, and should be rare. Yeah, not something.
I mean, legends are pretty rare though.
They're not rare enough.
I mean, if you look at OCC, at OCC now, I think. I mean,
there's only a handful. I mean, we're waiting for the stats.
There's only what's he called?
The guy,
the guy from who does
all
the
South Atlantic, James Cook.
James Cook, yeah, James Cook does. I think I don't know if he does it every season, but every
no,
season
he does it every season.
Like a list of all of the live legends, and
Yeah.
there's no more. There's maybe 15 or something. There aren't that many.
No.
But I think there was more than 15. I was going back to look because there was posted last year. Here it is, Superstars and Legends. For season 24, which was last year's, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
there
only
was-
count the legends, right? Not the superstars.
Yep. Active legendary players in season 24. There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in champions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in tier 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11 in tier. Or sorry, 8 in tier 2 and 3 in tier 3.
Right, which is about 30.
So 25, 26, 27, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
26 or 27.
Out of, say,
Yeah.
100, 150 teams, maybe. So that's pretty rare, I'd say. But
I think I'm kind of in line with Corn Knight. I think it should be a little more rare than that.
mm,
I would think in 100 teams, for instance, I would say there should probably be maybe 10 to 15.
Yeah, the original
I mean,
the original star player book. There were, there were star players, which were supposed to be the skilled up.
Yeah.
Like in second edition, there were 6 legendary level players out of 52 stars. Something. No, it was more. It was more. It was way more. I've forgotten how many it was, but basically that was supposed to be a whole league. And so the whole league was like in second ed. Had 6 legendary players. Griff.
Yes, it also depends on racial mix as well, right? I mean, some races it's just easier to
yeah, some
grind
races
out a
get
legend
quicker
player
to
than others.
legend than,
Mm.
say,
I
goblins.
mean,
or ogres.
Nurgle, for example. Yeah, Nurgle warriors. I mean,
Yeah, they're going to get there, aren't they?
Probably eventually, they're not that easy to
I'm glad
kill.
Dreamland's not in this conversation. Jeez.
Yeah,
Talk about
I mean,
them.
obviously they're still gonna die, but I mean, getting sort of 3 Nurgle warriors up to legend is not
No.
that unlikely.
Yeah, I mean that's
we're
pure
gonna
armor
see-
9 and regen, isn't it? Absolutely.
We're
It's
going
gonna
to
be there.
see a team here in a minute when we finish up the rest of these teams that's got 3 legends on their team.
Yeah,
So
that's too many.
That's too many.
Yeah.
But then will redrafting take care of a lot of that as well? I mean, I'd
Yep.
like to play in a long-term league that has drafting in as well. Like if drafting comes in for Blood Bowl 3, and who knows? Initially they said it wasn't, but hopefully it will. And if that's implemented in the OCC, which I would hope that the administrators do implement, because I think it will make a much tighter league than it is currently.
yes.
I'd love to see how that plays out and how teams redraft at the end of each season and so on. I think that'd be really interesting as well, because I think legends will be rarer then, because you've got to obviously pay for them. And if you're not doing that well, then
Yeah,
you won't be able
I
to
think
afford
they
them.
won't only be rarer; they'll be almost non-existent.
Yeah, because you got to pay for each season that you keep a player alive. So you can't just hold on to a player for. But the idea of some teams actively try and lose to stay lower in the lower divisions, get easier matchups, earn more SPP on players. That's a bad idea now, right? Because every season you go through,
Do people do that now, though?
20K more. Definitely in some big leagues. I wouldn't know about OCC in particular.
I mean,
But the idea of
it's possible.
Oh yeah, in fact, yeah. I think didn't Triss say something recently about Nurgle wanting to lose early games because staying low? That might have been somewhere. I don't know. But yeah.
All right. Anyway, should we move on to the next team? And the next team are previous OCC champions as well. I think they won it twice, didn't they? Back to back. Kielstad. So let's have a look at his team.
Is this the team with the 3 legends in it?
Yeah. Let's go through as we have for the others, just what they have. So they've got the Magic Dome as well, which is I think a strange choice for Vamps, perhaps, when you got HG4. But
it's not because of rain; it's because of snow.
With the GFIs, because the slower movement. Fair enough.
Yeah.
He's coming in at 72, 27, 45.
Oh, and sweltering heat. And sweltering heat's really bad.
I was going to say that the main reason I take the dome is really, believe it or not, is not for the rain or the snow. It's for sweltering heat.
Yeah, because that would really punish you, wouldn't it, Spydyr? I guess if you're missing a few sore.
Yep. And sweltering, he historically for me has always been one of my worst luck rolls in Blood Bowl, from Blood Bowl 1 to Blood Bowl 2. I always get hammered by sweltering.
Yeah, it is a horrific event.
It's a bad one.
And it goes to say, because I play mostly Kimry and Lizards, that it would seem like it's really worse for me, because if you lose one or two key pieces on either of those teams, it really screws you.
Yeah. That's one of the things about Chaos and Norse is everyone's actually 3, so basically almost everyone. So, if players are out, you can usually cope with it a lot better than Camry or,
So, going back to Kjellstad's team, he's got 9 players for game 1. So his TV is 80 and only 40k in the bank, so that's unlikely to change. But his team value is 1860, but he'll have another
1940.
1940, yeah, with the loan of thralls it will have. But as Danton correctly points out, he's got 3 superstars, well, legends, I should say, on the team, and they're the Vamps in 12th, 14th, and 15th position. So, guys, what do you think of this team?
My first thing, and I've played a lot of Vamps, and I'm a decent vampire coach. First thing I see is 5 vampires. I don't like that. 4 is ideal. But the second biggest thing, and this is more just to his bank and being out of money, he has not even close to enough thralls. I mean,
yeah, his thralls are low.
Ideally, you want at least. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. He doesn't have the money to replace him right now.
No, but I was going to say he used to have 6 Vamps. I mean,
yeah, and he used to have 15 players at one point as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And I know
he likes to build it big.
Yeah, not to disregard what he's done. He's won champs, and obviously he's used the Vamps to his advantage. But ideally, you want at least, at a minimum, 2 thralls per Vamp to start a game. And if you have 6 Vamps, that's physically impossible. You can't do that.
I think the maths changes a bit depending on how many rerolls and how much
pro, right? But you still can't rely on those. There's gonna be, you have to, and I play Kimry the same way. You have to expect that you're gonna fail those rolls, and then when you pass them, that's just icing on the cake, right? Yeah,
but what are you saying, that he should fire a Vamp?
I wouldn't have picked up that rookie Vamp, to be honest.
Yeah, number 2.
I would have
Tim.
Yeah, I would have left him off, kept your 4. When one of your legends or the other one dies, then you replace him with your rookie Vamp and start bringing him up. I get why he has him, or at least I think I get it, because he wants to start leveling him to replace one of the ones that's going to eventually get removed.
I mean, the way I played against him in Blood Bowl 1, actually, when he had Vamps back then, with my Dark Elves, and I played it against him in Champs 2 seasons ago. As did Cornite, right? I think you were there at the same time.
Yeah.
And I mean, he likes to roll dice, right?
Yeah.
He's the sort of coach, he likes to get in your face, and is super aggressive. And I mean, that's why he has a lot of Vamps, because he doesn't care. He's rolling the dice, whatever, regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and if they go off, they go off, and that's just how it is, kind of thing.
Yeah, and also, more Vamps does mean more strength bullying, right? So they, it means he's got 5 strength 4 players rather than, more strength 3.
Yep.
And he does use that strength very well. I mean, in my game, he absolutely wrecks me because he just outstrengthed me everywhere.
The strength 6 Vamp.
Yeah,
I've
pulled up the strength 6 Vamp now to look at 7648. I mean, 300k.
Yeah.
I mean, Spydyr, how much is Sun Drop?
220.
Yeah,
I'll tell you in just a second.
So I think this Vamp is probably the most expensive player I've ever seen.
270
in Blood Bowl. 300k.
Sun Drop's 270.
Yeah, 300k
on
one player
is literally is one of the only players in the division who can take him on.
Yep.
Yeah. Thanks, Bork, and hello. But yeah, I mean, this is this filth or is this brilliant? I don't know. Freight Train. What do you guys think? And he's got here in, 108 games, so fair enough. He's done the work, but oh, what a player! 7.648. I mean, that's just insane.
I mean, for me, Vamps don't really need that much strength that much. He uses him well, but he doesn't. I don't think he's worth 300k. I think the move up is actually a bigger deal. And I think the other vamps with the move are actually far bigger because they can cover so much of the pitch together.
What would you have picked on the second on the boxcars?
You should definitely take the strength. I'm not saying you don't take it.
Because, especially because vamps really don't have any good doubles they can take. Unless you're taking, like leader or something like that.
I'll throw one ideal out there, a situation out there. Instead of taking the second strength, because really, in my opinion, there's only 2, maybe 3 reasons why you would want to get a player to strength 6, and that's to be able to get 2 dice on big guys by himself, or if you're using break tackle to be able to, like I do with Sundrop, to be able to get into cages.
Anyway,
on a player that's low edge, right? But a vampire, you don't really have to worry about that because they're already good edge. So the only thing that I might have done differently instead of taking the second strength is taking Mighty Blow and making him a true hitter, because he's probably doing a lot of your blitzing anyway with the strength boost.
I don't know. This is the thing. He doesn't really blitz with him that much because he's one of the less stable vamps. He uses the pro vamps more to hit with. At least, like in my game, where the strength didn't make that much difference. I don't think. Like he carried on him, and that was a problem, obviously. But like it wasn't.
I was gonna say that
a carrier,
is the other big use for him is as a carrier. That is where the strength 6 really becomes a pain for opponents when they just can't get dice on.
Agreed.
Yes.
Agreed.
So stalling as vamps is problematic unless they're stalling by holding onto it with a blodge strength 6 player who's just standing where he wants to.
Yeah, but if my rebuttal to your point there, Corn Knight, if you're other than being the ball carrier, if you're carrying a strength 6 player and you're not using him to hit, then you're carrying a lot of extra TV bloat for nothing.
He's very active with this player. I can tell you that much. I mean, he's not blitzing every turn with it, but he is blitzing with it when it makes sense, and he is putting it in your face a lot.
Yeah, which he should, in my opinion. I would. Typically I put Sundrop in everybody's face quite a bit, and I trust that his armor's going to hold. Unless I'm playing against a natural kill team where the rest of my team's getting destroyed, then I'm going to try to protect him as much as I can. Sure. You guys have seen me played with him enough to know that I'm aggressive with him quite a bit.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, this vamp team, what they are missing, though, as you kind of alluded to before, Spydyr, is Mighty Blow. There's no Mighty Blow on the team at all. I mean, arguably, do they need it?
Need Mighty Blow. It's a nice kind of nice to have skill, but it's not part of the essential toolkit.
No, for vamps,
I go the other way. I'd say they can't afford it. I'd say that you need blodge, tackle, and other more key skills.
Pro sidestep.
Yeah,
you're not with vamps. You're not relying on removals. You're relying on the hypnotic gaze more than anything to get you where you need to be and to do what you need to do. Yeah. The only reason I said Mighty Blow on that guy is because like I said, in my eyes, I would make him my dedicated hitter as much as I can. Obviously, there's going to be situations where you want to use other vamps to hit because that's what's the more reliable or the easier one to do. But if you did get Mighty Blow on him at strength 5, then he's a pretty nice piece that could potentially remove players.
But you can make the same argument for Sundrop, right? I mean, Sundrop doesn't have Mighty Blow, and you could have done the same thing instead of making him strength 6. Although obviously you lose the break tackle advantage
piece of it,
dodging into a cage.
Yeah, no, and that's a good point. And I decided to go tackle instead of Mighty Blow on his last skill up, his legendary skill up, because I wanted the ability to take players down other than removing them.
Okay, so after all of that, do you think they're strong contenders for the champs?
Absolutely. With those 4 vampires, I mean, he can easily win games just with those 4 pieces if they're staying on the pitch.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, if he manages to keep those 4 vamps alive. If he loses a couple in the first half of the season, then I think
it's all over, isn't it?
That'll make a big difference.
I mean, is the bank and the amount of players a concern? Because he basically is, as you guys have said already, starting with 11. Some of those will be loners, and all Vamps will be on the pitch at the same time, which is asking for trouble. I mean, I've not played him. I mean, I'm a really bad Vamp coach myself, but is he the kind of guy who won't activate Vamps, or will he just chuck him in? I mean, that's the question, isn't it? Really, I guess.
Yeah, as Danton said, he'll roll the dice.
So he'll just go for it and hope he avoids the ones.
So say, I imagine with this team and the fact that he's won twice, I would imagine he's pretty aggressive at going for the win all the time.
Yeah, well, you've got to be, I guess, haven't you? With this,
he was down to this many players for the end of 2 seasons ago when he won.
Yeah.
Did he win that one? Yeah, he did. Yeah. So,
well, and another key thing is he's in spiraling expenses, so he's going to have a hard time keeping enough bank to replace vampires if they do get killed. Although if one of those 4 gets killed, that's going to be enough TV losing that he'd lose that would take him out of spiraling.
Take out spiraling, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Any other comments about this team before we move to the next one? 4 rerolls. He needs to stick with that, doesn't he? Really, he couldn't drop down to 3.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's common for bats.
I don't think.
Yeah, especially because he like we said, he rolls the dice, so he needs
a lot of dice.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be against 5, to be quite honest.
And even he's gone for the cheerleader and assistant coach to try and pick up extra roles as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
I think it's worth saying that so it wasn't season 23 where he won. It was season 22, and in 23.
It was Nibbinen, yeah.
Yeah. So Nibbinen won in the season where we were both in the champs together with him. But it was the season before that Kielstad won, and in the season where he was with us, he came 4th, and I think that's largely because he was down to this many players. I think he spent a lot of the season down to 11 players against teams that weren't giving him inducements, so he didn't have a chance to have more players, and so he did end up losing some. Right, that's kind of maybe why he drew and lost as many games as he did.
Yeah, I played him right at the start of the season, first game, where he had a full everything. He had like a full team over 2,000 TV. I lost 4-1.
Yeah. He only had 11 players against me, and he still beat me 2-1. So I'm not like
Yeah.
So he still played well and everything. That was the penultimate game of the season, I think.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next team, which is Trunkhead's Pillars of Heaven, who are a Dark Elf team. Now, they're only 1560, so they're the lowest we've seen so far, and I think I haven't seen the team that's missing, but I think they're going to be the lowest TV coming into this. Although I've not checked how many players they've got.
They've only got 10.
Yeah, so they've got another
60, and one's MNG
70 to come into that, and they've got an MNG as well.
So basically 1,700, right?
Yeah, so it's not too far off the others, I guess. So just to give the introduction as we have before, so for game 1 they've got 10 players. They've got the pixel hugging, throw a rock, get the ref, kickoff thing. Stadium.
Maybe there's something about pixel hugging that gets you into champs. Maybe
maybe that is. I mean, again for Dark Elves, I think the obvious choice is going to be the crowd
Wizard
one.
Stadium. Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, I mean Wizard Stadium is valid as well. I think as just general elves, but
the frenzy one.
Yeah, the frenzy one. The beer stand is it?
Beer stands.
Thank you. Sorry, we got there in the end.
The problem with the beer stand is that it
affects you as well.
You're not immune to getting surfed yourself.
No.
It's not a great stadium choice anyway. The effect is not that big, and especially at this kind of level, like you can't really claim to be you can't really expect to be the one doing all the surfing, basically.
No.
So
people
the only one I would expect, the only elf team I'd expect to have that would be Dav.
Yeah. But
stats wise 63, 33, 39, which is pretty good. But yeah, let's have a look at this squad. So what have we got here? So we've got 4 blitzers who are at the bottom.
I think he's been in champs at least 2 or 3 times before as well.
Yeah, he has, yeah.
Yeah, Trunkhead's a good coach. He's been in a couple of leagues I've been in and run.
He's good. I mean,
I don't understand how he plays, but we played twice, and I've stared at his moves and thought he was playing badly, and then he's beat me both times. So he's clear.
He's absolutely one of those coaches where you shake your head and you're like, level. What in the world is he doing? And then the next thing you know, you've lost.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, on the face of it, this team isn't actually that well developed, to be quite honest. I mean, that again points to his coaching ability being great, because
I know he
hasn't
lost,
really got much here, has he?
He lost a legend. He had a legend witch off, I think, that he lost, and maybe like his blitzers look like they've been redeveloped at least once.
Yeah, I mean, sure they have. This team has been around for a while. She's just got a movement bust, the one I've brought up here. It's not a.
The MNG player is actually niggled, so and he hasn't kept any other injuries except for the movement bust on the Witcher. So I don't know if maybe like is Bloodguard is probably all right to keep for a niggle.
I think I'd keep Bloodguard on a niggle.
I think as a line, you keep it.
Maybe it depends on who he faces though. If he's facing someone with tackle claw palm,
so it's actually set with that lineman back. It's 1770, right?
Yeah.
TV.
He's got 150k in the bank as well, so he could get some replacement linos if he wanted to. Depending, I'm sure he's waiting to see what his first game's against. But yeah, I mean, what do you think of this last Egg Shen here, number 16, who's
he's the star of the team, obviously.
Yeah,
but tackle, I don't like shadowing with diving tackle because they don't really synergize together.
Not really, do they?
Actually, they do. It's a very underrated skill combo that a lot of people don't think about but
it's the order that you're prompted, right? I think.
No, it works nice because you get the ability.
Yeah, talk us through
to choose to use diving tackle first, and if you choose not to, then you can use the shadowing, and if you succeed the shadowing, then they have to dodge out of diving tackle again. So where it really comes into play is if somebody just clicks 5 squares away and doesn't do it 1 square at a time and they don't think about it, then all of a sudden they're having to do that potentially 5 different times, that combo.
Because when you click shadowing, it cancels the move. So you have to, the person has to still click every time that you click shadowing. So, it might not actually. Maybe if you have it on. If you have an automatic, I have it on manual. So I have to click OK each time, and then the opponent has to click the next square each time.
So, but aren't you relying on your opponent not noticing that either the diving tackle or the shadowing that are there?
For that specific instance, yes, but still, it's a great skill, especially for a high move, like for a skink or a gutter runner. It's a really great
with
skill
move
combination.
7, it's borderline, right?
Yeah, it's not as good on move 7. Yeah.
Yeah, I prefer jump up because, like, if you're diving tackling, once you've decided to take tackle and diving tackle, I think jump up is better to give you more movement again.
I think I'd go with jump up over shadowing, to be quite honest. But again,
I would have taken jump up first, absolutely.
But
I do like shadowing though, and I did have a shadowing Norse runner on my OCC team.
You did, and what happened to him, Cornwright?
Well, he won me a couple of games and then died, much like all other Norse players.
But yeah, I mean, I don't particularly. I don't think I would have ever thought of shadowing. I don't think I would have built a blitz like this. Full stop. To be quite honest with you, but then I'm not in the champs, and
the first 4 skills are bog standard.
Yeah, bog standard.
Dark Elf Blitzer, right? Dodge, sidestep, tackle, diving tackle that's a typical Dark Elf Blitzer that hasn't rolled anything interesting. Then the shadowing is the kind of the slightly off-piste skill.
Mm-hmm. What I mean, if you didn't choose shadowing there, what else would you?
Either jump up, or even fend is okay.
I mean, if you're planning on shadowing, I'd take shadowing before diving tackle, just because I think it's more utilitarian to be able to move around. It's like it changes the rules. Shadowing changes the rules of the game, whereas diving tackle just has it's the same rules, but you get a +2, right? And so I do like shadowing for that effect, where you could just be following an opponent, halfway across the pitch, and you get to choose whether you follow them or not. So you can put your player in worse and worse positions. I think it's a great skill. I think the order is a bit. I'm not sure if I would take diving tackle before shadowing, and therefore I'm not sure I would take shadowing. Sorry, I wouldn't take shadowing after I've got diving tackle. But I would take shadowing first.
Okay. I mean, considering
But
the teams we've looked at so far, which have all been sort of bash teams, is there enough on this? Is there enough agility on this team to cope with them? I would posit probably not. And is there enough strength? Again, probably not. There's no stat ups in strength or agility. That Witch Elf does have Mighty Blow, but again, she's going to be hit. She hasn't got tackle. She's going to be hitting every 9. There's only 1 tackle on the team, in fact. So I think they're going to find it quite tough.
I think this team has a hard time beating either the 2 Chaos Stores and either the 2 Lizard teams.
Yeah.
I think those are 4 matchups he goes into being immediately the underdog.
I think the Chorfs are the real problem. I'm not sure about Lizards.
Well, the Lizards still both. Even my team with just 3 tackle with the prehensile tail end added in, it's enough of a deterrent to make them have to make more unreliable rolls than normal.
I mean, but also this team's going to be getting inducements in most of those games, so they're going to be getting a wizard, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think a wizard standard. I mean, ideally bench as well, but yeah,
I still think going in, even with the wizard and other inducements, I think going in those 4 matchups, they're the underdog. Doesn't mean they can't win. Yeah. I just think they're the underdog going in.
Dark Elves always have a chance, right? I mean, obviously, I'm going to keep harping on about the fact that I'm the only person who's ever won the OCC with Dark Elves.
But Dark Elves always have a chance unless they're coached by Ethelred.
Oh, I knew.
Yeah. I mean,
I knew that was
we're not talking about handicapping yourself.
By the end of this season, we're going to see all 4 of Ethelred's blitzers with diving tackle shadowing.
Absolutely. Danton, I mean, this team you're the Dark Elf expert, apparently. So come on, let's hear some wisdom.
I used to play them a lot, but not so much recently. But I mean, this team, it just looks a little light in terms of its kind of current state. But it can still do good things with obviously a wizard and maybe a star player or something. So yeah, I wouldn't write them off.
Yeah, who do you think he's going to lean towards? Roxy or?
I mean, I always like.
Who's a strength guy? It's Hubris, isn't it? I think
it's Hubris. But I've always been a fan of Eldril. Eldril and a wizard is a nice combination.
Eldril's probably the better choice because of the Hypno. But Roxy can single-handedly win you games. She's just so good.
I mean,
I don't like leaping with a loner.
I mean, but Eldril can also catch the ball and go 8 or even possibly 10 squares to score.
Yeah, exactly. What I like about Eldril's quite diverse.
Yeah, but it really adds to Dark Elves in a way that it doesn't quite add as much to pros and woodies.
Yeah, he's got
weak
two,
though,
two
isn't
dimensions.
He? Yeah.
Well, like I said, Eldril's definitely the probably the primary choice, and I agree. He's probably the better choice. Again, there's something about Roxy that I love.
Yeah, I've never really got on with Roxy that well, to be honest. I should probably get better with her.
The problem with Roxy is, both of them are obviously fragile. Neither of them have block, and they're both AV7. But so you need to protect them both. But
she's got Jugs though, so it's not too bad.
But Jugs is only good when you're blitzing with her.
And typically you're not going to blitz with her.
The problem is with Edge 5 leap, you're very tempted to use the leap, and that can really bite you if it goes wrong.
Yeah. Although with Edge 5 and dodge, she can usually dodge places.
Yeah.
That means
I mean,
in a better way than she can leap.
It's
right?
And you got the built-in reroll.
Yeah. With the built-in.
Yeah, but again, I mean, if you're facing something like Chorfs or Dwarfs, then the dodge isn't going to be as useful.
With Roxy, you're typically not blitzing with her. You're blitzing with somebody else to break the ball out, and then you're trying to get the ball free with Roxy to do whatever you need to do with it.
Yeah, or using her to recover after, let's say, a lightning bolt or something.
Yeah, absolutely. She's more your recovery, get the ball downfield, whether it's punting or to one of your other players.
I mean, that still involves a 1-die with the loner reroll, right? So, whereas Eldril opens cages for you, right? Maybe only once before he dies. But,
I was just say maybe just once. Yeah, maybe just once. But he's made a career out of it, hasn't he? So that's fine.
He has.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think there's much to say about Trunkhead. There, I mean, good luck to him. He is a good coach, but I think he's going to find the season tough. I think in the champs.
Well, if you look at the mix of teams, though, it's not that bad a mix for Dark Elves. Obviously, the Chorfs are a bit horrendous, but the other races are not that bad for him to face.
Okay. I should qualify that perhaps to say that nothing's unwinnable, but I think it's tough. It'd be tough, I think. Okay, should we?
I mean, Dark Elves against Lizards with a wizard. The Dark Elves having a wizard and some inducements. It's not a bad matchup for the Dark Elves.
No,
it's not that bad. It's not terrible.
Just hit the skinks right as well, so you'll be fine.
Talking of lizards, the next team
is Rustfall's Pontifices. So let's have a look at them.
The other lizard team, the lizard team without a strength 6 Saurus,
with not quite as much red, although there's a bit of red on there. Let's do the standard introduction. So they come in at 13 players. No one missing for the first game. They're at 1980 TV, 140k in the bank. They have no enhancement yet, and not enough cash to get one. Do you need 200 for the first one? I think you do.
100.
Is it 100? I mean, first question: should he get an inducement for the stadium?
I wouldn't be surprised if he had an enhancement previously and maybe dropped it because of some specific matchups.
Yeah.
Because he's got the level 2 stadium, right? So it looks like
you'd only get the level. You'd only pay for the level 2 stadium if you wanted an enhancement at some point, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, what would you get? I mean, I know we discussed it briefly already, but yeah, the anti-heat one, the weather dome, or
I think the top 3 are weather dome, the squig sandwich, or the security gate. I mean, they're all the ones that reduce the variance. So all of the other ones kind of add a bit of variance to both teams. So I'd take one of those 3.
Okay, fair enough. His stats are 62, 26, 29.
Wait. I think he did have a stadium at one point, right? I think he had a stadium that was something bad and he got rid of it.
Did he have
did he have Nuffle also at some point? And he was.
Yeah, I was going to say.
He may have done.
I was going to say. I bet he had the both teams get a wizard.
No. He had the Nuffle also, which was the one that reduces star players by 50k. I'm pretty sure that's what he had, and he had that when he was down TV quite a lot of the season.
Maybe when he was rebuilding the team. Or
something.
Yeah. I mean that's a good choice, I think, at that level.
Slibbly for 200. Yeah. Please.
Yeah. I mean, and it's good as well because if you've got the Nuffle altar, even if your opponents, it obviously affects your opponent as well. But if they're higher TV, then they're very rare to put the cash in to get another star because they're going to go first, and you're going to get the cash that they put in.
I mean, the problem is that Lizards don't have a really cheap choice. Like, I think it's
how much is that little stabby dude?
180.
Yeah, the blodging stabber.
Yeah.
Hemlock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's one. I want to say he's 180. That sounds about right.
I have a feeling it's an odd number, so I think it might be 170. I'll tell you the answer in a second.
He's actually a really good skink.
170.
Yeah, he's a great player, isn't he?
Yeah.
Jump up, blodge, sidestep, stab.
Yeah, but he's a skink, right? So he can still be palmed.
He's a safer than almost any other player you've got, right? As Lizards, you're not likely to have a blodging, sidestepping, jump up skink.
Yeah, but I mean, he's going to be targeted, and the stab means that when he's using stab, he's staying adjacent to
next
people.
to somebody.
Yeah, but but with enough altar, you're paying 120 for him. That's cheaper than he'd be if he was a skink.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that he's good for with the stab, especially against elves, is he's an easy cage breaker to stab the ball.
Yeah.
And
All
if
right.
he doesn't get the ball out, then he's obliging sidestepper to stay marked on the ball.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's right in there, isn't he? Okay, so let's have a look at Raspel's squad. So again, he's on his 4th Crocs, who's got block and guard. The Sauruses are pretty good, apart from one who's a rookie, but he's got a Frenzy Jugs Black Hole one and Mighty Blow.
Well, he's got
nice.
3. He's got 3 good sources and 3 crappy ones, because the 2 that have block are both carrying injuries as well.
Mm.
One's just armor broke, no niggle. The other's just a move break, I believe.
Yeah. There's that's not terrible, right? The 2 movement busts, not the worst in the world, and the armor bust is not that bad either.
No.
No, it's not awful, is it? But yeah, there's no niggles there. I don't think.
The other 3 sources are very nice pieces.
But he has got this.
The star of the show.
Star of the show,
surely,
of course,
has to be Benedictus.
Benedictus the 4th.
He's still alive.
Still alive somehow. 9137, and he's got a niggle as well. He's got 2 niggles, in fact.
2 niggles.
But he's
and
also
he's stunty.
And he's
so
stunty.
plus 3 to your injuries.
I'll take care of that skink.
But he's Rog Strip Ball Dauntless, which is a genius pick, I think, really. And he's still on the squad, so yeah. And he is. We have seen him win games,
right?
Yeah, 3. It's great.
But I don't know. Spydyr, would you keep, if he was on your team? Would you? Oh, I think the answer is yes anyway, because we've seen your squad. But would you like this skink? Would you have built this skink?
I will tell you this. I played this team at one point. I don't remember when it was, but he still had that skink at that point, and he was strength broke. And that skink was an absolute menace to my skinks. It just was a pain in the ass, and he kept getting the ball out time after time after time. Hated that skink. So I will go out of my way to try to kill him if he's on the pitch.
Which basically tells you how much value that skink is. If you've got a player that's annoying your opposing coaches and they hate him, that means you've got a good player.
That skink single-handedly won him that match. I remember that specific, and it was probably 2 or 3 seasons ago at least. I specifically remember that.
Yeah, I think when we were in Champs, I think he was there as well, right, that season.
Yeah, how did you guys find him?
I think
Go on then, you first.
Yeah, I think your team got smashed, didn't it, by his team?
Wait. I played him twice, and the first time was the game after that skink got the strength bust, and also he had a natural one-turning skink that got MNG'd. So the first game I played against him, I was against like half his normal team,
right?
And it was hilarious.
And you lost 4-0.
I won that one. But yes, he did beat me in the last game of the season.
In Champs.
In Champs, yeah. With 2 loners, as in 2 skink loners.
And did the skink play a part in it or not?
I don't actually remember. No, because I got sure hands. I had a couple. I had 2 sure hands players at that point.
Yeah,
right.
I definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I played against him in Champs, and I definitely beat him. But I can't remember if this Strength 1 skink was actually on the pitch or not.
No, the Strength 1 skink didn't win it for him. It was just a slow removal of Norse. Because I was missing players.
I basically beat him by managing to stop his score in his half, and then second half I managed to remove a few sources and basically just won 1-0.
Oh, I remember this one now.
Okay.
Yeah, my TV was 1,220 for the last game of the Champs season. That gives you an idea of how much of my team there was.
Yeah,
but okay, so not that effective in your 2 games, but
Norse in the Champs, you'd expect that.
You'd expect that,
yeah.
And to finish last, obviously as well. So yeah, okay. Well, I mean, I still think he's a key player for Raspel this season. I mean, again,
it's still a good team.
It's a great team. I mean, again, the Skinks played 86 games. All right, not all of those
And
strength
and
buffs,
you
but
know, I think it's worth mentioning that he has a dirty player skink.
yeah, which is
You know,
I really like.
it's a nice piece to have for lizards.
Yeah, absolutely.
Typically, so I'm going to go against the grain here. Typically,
Okay.
with skinks, I will not waste a double on dirty player at all unless I had a skink that already had sneaky get, and then I rolled doubles. Then I'd take the dirty player.
But you wouldn't. Would you ever pick sneaky get? So is that a? Is
Yes,
that a
and I have.
Oh, okay.
If I'm carrying 6 or more skinks, which
Yeah.
I've done plenty of times, that 6th skink I will give sneaky get because I like the ability, and I've said this before in some of the
Yeah,
posts
the
based
free
off of
fouling. Yeah.
yeah,
free
because
foul.
you can foul free with no assists and not lose positioning, whereas technically or typically you want to have several assists or as many assists as possible, which can give up positioning, key positioning because you're trying to get more assists.
Yeah.
The thing is,
but-
with dirty player on a team like this, the main reason to have it is for targeting claw bombers, right?
Absolutely,
I mean,
but
I wouldn't be using this skink to foul at all unless there was like a really
It's
high
the
value
threat of it.
target.
Yeah.
It's the threat of it
Yeah.
to make them think twice about mashing the piling on button.
Yeah. Well,
And
But you know
for those
what?
cases, yeah.
I was gonna say, you know what? And whether I have dirty player or not, if I'm going against like a Stahlberg and he piles on with one of those players, I'm gonna find a way to foul him with other skinks and get assists if I can.
Yeah.
But if you have
the
a dirty player,
it's nice because it's
then
+1,
It's even
but that's
better.
not going to
It's
stop me from not fouling.
yeah, but the dirty player is giving you the extra odds to get the removal.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that +1 is massive, isn't it? Like,
Yeah,
play,
absolutely.
Mighty Blow and Dirty Player are both enormous, percentage increases when you're trying to.
So here's my rebuttal to that. You're going to get 100% more usage out of a blodge skink throughout the entirety of the match than you will a dirty player skink that you're just using as a potential threat and maybe a foul occasionally.
To be fair, I think when he took the dirty player, I think he had 2 blodging skinks and one of them had sure hands as well.
It doesn't matter. I still take the block, and that's just me. If I could have all 5 or 6 of my skinks with block, I would want that.
You'd do that
all day over a dirty player.
Yeah, I'm not sure you get that much value out of that many.
I like it. I like it because I think it adds a psychological dimension.
It does, absolutely. Not disagreeing.
And to me it's slightly out of the box. Not your standard skill choice for lizards, and it appeals to me.
One thing to keep in mind too, I don't typically play skinks like most coaches will. I'm very, very aggressive with skinks. I don't play to defensively or to save my skinks. So a lot of lizard coaches don't play that way. They'll be more safe with their skinks and not put them in harm's way unless they're in a situation where it calls for it.
Yeah, but you took them in.
I'd be more conservative.
So yeah. Anyway, that's just me. I would rather have the blodge because I'm so aggressive and I like to put them in there.
Well, that's fair.
But I absolutely understand your all's arguments, and I'm not saying they're wrong. That's not what
I mean. When you talk about doubles on skinks, though, a lot of people, advocate for sure hands as the first double.
Absolutely.
That you take.
Yep, and I will do that occasionally. It just depends on how the rest of my skinks look at that point in time.
Yeah.
But I haven't done sure hands as the first double for sure.
I'm a doubles first double on the team.
Player. Be sure hands, I think.
Sure hands.
Yep.
Serious contender, do you think?
Yes.
For the champs?
I would definitely top half, I think.
Yep.
And just to depend. I mean, the advantage is, again, we've only got 2 really nasty kind of claw teams.
Yep.
So that it's a good season to be a lizard man team. As we saw with Spydyr's team as well.
I think this season, because of what you just said with the claw teams, this season lines up nicely for both of the lizard teams to have a shot to finish in the top 3.
I mean, I got to be honest, I would love to see a lizard champ because I don't think we've had one certainly since BB2's been out. I don't know if there's one in BB1.
BB1, there were several.
Right.
And there were a lot of like high profile lizard teams. I mean, Pidpad had one for a while. There was Fast Shark. I don't know if you remember him. I
No.
think there was like 3 or 4 seasons. There was Tigger. Do you remember Tigger?
I remember Tigger.
He won it twice. He won it twice with lizards.
What with lizards?
And
that's impressive.
Yeah. And there were a couple of other lizard man. Fast Shark won it once, Tigger twice, and there was another one whose name I can't remember, who was Swedish as well, who won it.
But yeah, well, as we said, a good chance, because the natural bane of lizards is claw teams, and there's not a lot of horrendous claw in this division.
That's
but
true.
Talking of that, let's go into the next one, which is Nibbenen's Chorfs. And yeah,
Bottom left.
Let's just do the quick summary for these guys. So, okay, now there's 16 there. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So 16 take away 4 is 12. So he's got 12 players for the first game. He comes in with 70k in the bank, 1960, which isn't that high, but fairly developed. He's got the riot and the pitch invasion cancelled, which, as we talked about before, is probably the more sensible choice, perhaps.
1960, to me, this is almost the sweet spot.
For Chaos Dwarves,
For Chaos Dwarves, I mean, you don't want really much more TV than this. And the team is so TV efficient. It's not carrying any bloat whatsoever.
No. Mm-hmm. And a very impressive record. I think the best so far we've seen, which is 40, 21, 11, which is really good. And looking at the team, there's a couple of standout stars, as you probably know. From he won it 2 seasons ago, I think. Now, this Bull Centaur is absolutely fantastic. So he's 6'5", 2'9". He's got obviously strength up there, but he's also blodge and break tackle as well. So he's dodging into a cage on a 3+, I think, which is pretty good.
4+.
4+, right? Sorry. And then the Chorfs are developing well as well. He's got 2 horrendous ones with claw, mighty blow, one with jump up as well, which is disgusting.
I mean, the jump up one is only 5 more counts away from Legend.
Yeah, I mean, what Legend Pro? What would you go with?
Pro is my choice after jump up because of.
I mean, it's between Pro and Juggernaut, probably. And if you roll a double, I mean, Horns is obviously nice.
Yeah, I think I'll go Horns first. But I don't know. Do you want to be blitzing him or the Strength 5 Bull, or the Frenzy Bull, which is the other choice?
I mean, if you're going for an attrition hit, then you want to be blitzing with him or the other.
Right.
The other.
If you're trying to sack the ball, then you're blitzing with the Bull, obviously.
Yeah. Or if you're trying to. If it's a tactical blitz, it's more likely to be a Bull.
But basically, 12 or 13 turns, you're going to be trying to blitz with the claw, right? Ideally.
Yep.
Yeah.
But, you only want to sack the ball 1 or 2 times a game.
I mean, it's pretty. This is horrendous, really, isn't this? This Chorf squad. I mean, it's.
Hey, Dreamland, how are you? Full late night recapping.
Yeah, absolutely. It's late show. I wish I still smoked because I'd be smoking now because I think it'd fit. But yeah, I mean, he's only got 14 players, so maybe no. How many players? He's got 12 players.
He's got
12. Yeah, could he do with a bigger bench? I don't know. He's keeping his TV.
He doesn't really need it though,
efficient,
because
doesn't he? So
because we said.
Wait till you see what the first game is, but I wouldn't be against buying a 30 player. But like, if you're playing a team who's a 2000 or 2000 and something, and the 40k difference doesn't make a difference, 100% buy another one, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. You look at what your first matchup is.
Yeah, he had 13 or 14 players up until the last game of the season. He had a niggled hobgoblin, right? That died in the last game of the season.
I mean, my question mark really is over this hobgoblin because I'm not sure I would have picked strength on a hobgob and then gone blackle on him. If I'd gone strength, I probably would have made him more of a ball carrier. Yeah, but to me,
I mean, it's fine though because he's a safety basically.
Yeah, he is a safety.
But typically one of your bulls would be the safety because of the movement.
But it does let you let you be a little bit more aggressive with the Bulls. I mean, you can be
It does.
pressuring with the Bulls more, in the opponent's backfield and keeping this guy back in case they go for a breakaway.
Yeah.
Well, that's true, but I just wonder how much use you're getting out of that 130k player, really.
I much rather would have had sure hands on him and made him my ball carrier.
I'd much rather he took guard instead of strength.
Yeah.
Another guard player on the team.
Yeah,
but another strength 4 player on this team though, with so much guard to protect it, it's not going to get hit a lot.
Yeah, it's nasty for sure.
Yeah, I mean he hasn't got any sure hands anywhere, so I mean
he does. He has
he has another hobgoblin.
Yeah. So I was going to talk then about dice and stuff, but he has got a sure hands player there who's got block as well, so that's pretty good.
Yeah. Plus, actually, this season tackle is quite valuable, I think, as a skill, given the racial matchup, and strength 4 tackle in particular is pretty good because you have like blodge sauruses running around, vampires with blodge. You do have quite a few high strength pieces.
High elves, brats, humans, all have dodge.
That guy could come in handy through this season for sure.
There's a lot of teams with dodge players.
He could, but I think you understand what my reasoning saying. Strength 4.
The team also already has 7 tackle players.
Yeah, but it's a mobile tackle player, right? I mean, the Chorfs, their tackle is obviously going to come into play, but but it's not.
Danton,
they're not pieces.
He's got that bull movement 6 with tackle and frenzy. So
but you got to remember that bull's armor broke and niggled, and he's going to be a target. So sooner or later, he's probably going to be removed from the team.
Oh, and also frenzy means he probably gets dragged away from fights a little bit.
Yeah. So the Hobb's probably a more safer option, to be honest.
In a vacuum, I agree with you that the strength 4 block tackle hobgoblin is maybe not ideal, but just the way that the division is the way it's looking, it's going to be a useful piece.
Yeah, no, I agree with Danton now he says that, I think.
Yep.
I can see its place on the team.
I can see it, but yeah, I don't think I would have ever. I don't think when it happened, I would have predicted the division they're in now, and therefore built him that way. I think that's a happenstance and maybe a fortunate break that he's built that way. But I think
maybe he rolled the strength up
choice.
Just around the same time as he rolled the last on the bull, and decided I'm going to take frenzy on the bull and tackle, so I still have a tackle piece that's not going to get frenzied out of into the wrong place. But maybe whatever.
But yeah, I think I think still a strong contender for the champs this season.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, everyone we've seen is a strong contender for the champs. Well, I'd like to point out, I have my little diagram ready.
Apart from Junkhead, I don't think Adele's are.
First to third, right?
Everyone's a strong player, and everyone's a strong contender, and then there's the humans.
Well, that
with their natural one-turner
segues into your turn, Danton. So let me give you the intro, and then you can talk about your team. So you have 16, 15, 14, 13, 11
players.
11 players. 3 rerolls. You've got the
22. 51.
Shut up. You got 3. You got throw a rock and get the ref. Stadium. You pixel hugger. Stats wise, you're in at 36, 26, 19, which is pretty good. Talk. You obviously got the natural one turner, which I'll highlight when you get to him. But yeah, talk us through your team, Danton.
The team
100k in the bank, 1660 TV.
Yeah, it's sort of bare. It is a bit bare bones. I mean, obviously having been in sort of high tiers in OCC for a few seasons, I've had to cycle through quite a few players. Quite a few blitzers have come and gone. I lost a couple of. I had 2 quite. When I say developed linemen, linemen with a couple of skills on them.
Yeah. Well, no skills.
2 or 3. I used to have a guard kick lineman with wrestle.
Dirty player.
And a wrestle dirty player. I've lost a lot of dirty players because, funnily enough, they get targeted. But at least it's three good blitzers. Obviously, the two catchers are kind of the stars, and the rest of the team is just kind of the bare minimum.
If we include loaners, then your team is the lowest TV team in the division. So that's intriguing. But
yeah.
I think some of the other teams have more bench instead. Is that would you is that? Do you think that's a choice? Do you think you'd rather have 11 players and be low TV?
Definitely. So I definitely like to play every game with at least 12 players.
12,
that because I like to start on defense, bench the one turner.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
you need. So either I'm getting that bench through inducements, or I'll pay for it.
I mean, you have got enough money to get 2 linos. I don't recommend you get 2, but you certainly got enough.
Oh yeah, for sure.
To get 1.
I mean, it's a case of seeing who I'm up against first, and then I'll buy a lino if I need to, or I'll just save the money. But
okay.
You still got Rogan McMahon, who's 2 steps forward and 1 step back in his movement, which I like.
Yeah, he's the ex Move 9 player. He's still worth keeping, just because I mean, obviously.
Obviously.
Look at his little face. Look at that. He's clearly had a stroke. He's got one eye. But, you definitely keep him, wouldn't you? I mean,
yeah.
My question, Danton, I guess, is like your thrower. He's got sure hands and block, which is great. But I mean, is he useful when you got 3 AG4? I mean, how do you use him? I guess
really, he's there for redundancy. If because the other catcher who's the main carrier, Eamon Silvertongue, because he's a bit fragile. This guy obviously is a bit of a backup for when he gets taken out. And actually, if I do get him to 16 SPP, I'd probably give him kick and make him my kicker.
Sure.
I would have thought leader, not leader.
I like to have a kick, but I had a kick piece for a long time, and it's helps you, especially with quick players, put some pressure on from the kickoff. And having lost my kicker, I think a defensive thrower is a useful piece. I don't think it's worth building him as an
And sticking with kick, are you a short kick guy or you're a long kick guy? How
depends a bit on how the other team sets up. What players they have, but sometimes I'll kick deep, sometimes I'll kick short.
I mean, Spydyr, I don't think you've got kick on your team. Is it a skill you miss? Would you go for it or not really?
Lizards don't often get a chance to.
It's very hard to fit it in on lizards, because you're never going to put it on a Saurus.
Yeah, exactly. Wait, you're never going to put it on a Saurus or the Crocs,
and you're never going to waste a double on it.
Nope.
Yeah.
But
I mean, that's why with humans it makes sense, because it's a toolbox skill that's not hard to fit in.
But do you think you miss it, Spydyr, not having kick access, or not really?
No, not really.
Yeah,
kick is an overrated skill. It's all right. I do like it.
We've had this discussion.
We've had this discussion loads. We know you're kind of anti-kick.
I'm not anti-kick. I just, I think it's okay, but I wouldn't pick it first skill or something.
Typically, you're only going to get use out of it once a game.
Yeah, I think that was Dimmy's argument, wasn't it? That
it can be very useful in that one time, right?
It can dictate the pace of the entire drive. This is the thing, especially if you're turn 1, you're in defense from the start. You can put the ball right back in the corner and force a slow team to have to plod the whole way up the pitch and maybe try and split the LOS from the deep players. I mean, it opens up options.
Absolutely.
I mean, but 3 and 8 times the ball just goes back that way anyway, and the slow team is having probably similar amount of difficulties, if not.
But at least it kind of it lets you potentially pose some questions right off the bat, instead of just clicking on the middle square of the pitch and just the ball randomly going anywhere.
The best.
Makes you feel like you're doing something.
Yeah.
I think the word "feel."
Anyway, I mean,
I've had kick on my team for a long time, and the amount of times when I've set up for a 1 turn and my opponent just kicks it onto the back line anyway, without kick, it's Yeah.
Yeah. Well, obviously that's.
I mean, you've had moments where you've had 2 kick on your team, so you know.
That is also true.
So I mean,
I definitely think I would take leader over kick on that thrower. I think that the value to the team is higher of leader.
I mean, we'll see. I very much doubt he'll survive to get there, given the history of the team and but we'll see. If we get there, we can have a chat about it. But
he's basically a glorified lineman. Are you saying?
Yeah.
I mean, he's basically what I like about Kick on him is that he's a sort of player that you'd not normally stick on the LOS. When you have Kick on alignment, then often you have a dilemma. Oh, I've got to put someone on the line, and you don't want to put the kicker on the line.
Yeah.
So how you feel?
But interestingly, I was just going to say three of the blitzers are quite close to levels, so that could slightly change the look of the team as well. If I get to level them up. And the strength 4 blodge guard one, I was initially thinking that the next logical skill for him was stand firm, just to make him an annoying kind of strength 4 blodge firm piece that you can sort of stick somewhere.
Yeah.
But looking at the division and having talked about this strength 4 hobgoblin, I think I'd have to give him tackle. Because the team really is lacking tackle, and he's the sort of piece that could use it.
We've only got one, yeah.
I've only got the one and strength 4 tackle.
I thought you were going to say break tackle. Break tackle on the strength 4 blodger.
Nah.
Dodge and break tackle.
No.
Yeah, but I mean, I mean, tackle is just a skill that the team needs, and no one else. I mean, if I managed to get the Edge 4 one up to 76, he could take tackle, but I mean, he's not that close to it. Obviously the killer has it already. Probably he's taking Juggernaut or jump up if he gets a double.
Yeah.
And then the rookie is just got to take guard, I think, because the team needs more guard.
Yeah. Out of 10, how confident are you to win the champs with this team, Danton? If you can put a number on it.
Hard to say. I'd say 6 or 7. Not amazingly. I mean, I think I'm, like you said, with the one turner, I've always got a shot at at getting a result from games. But I mean there's a lot of very strong teams in the division, and humans have never won the OCC. It's a tough ask.
They've not even in BB1 from memory either. So
no, never. So to me that's part of the challenge. It's fun.
Absolutely.
But we'll see. I mean, definitely, I'll go into each game, giving it the 100%.
110%. That's what you meant to say there. But absolutely. I mean, I mean, again, I would love to see a non.
A new team.
Yeah, a new race.
Non-traditional.
A non-traditional, a new race to win the OCC, because I think that's important. So yeah, maybe it could be human season. Okay, right.
Talking of humans, the other humans in the division
who have won the OCC
at least 2 or 3 times.
Although not this team from memory, though. I don't think.
No, it was the one we saw in I think it's in Dreamland's division, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's Count Mathas, I think, isn't it? And Pitpad has won it back to back, I think, a couple of seasons ago.
But he won it. Pitpad won it when it was much lower TV, because it was at the beginning.
Yeah. It was easier.
It's a slightly different environment.
Yeah, just.
I think also that was when Brett's blitzers didn't have agility access.
Yeah, it was probably when the Bretts were a bit different.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's go through the stats of this team. So he is 14 players, because he's put them neatly to make it easier for me. 1720 TV, 100k in the bank, two team rerolls, so I think he's got a leader in there somewhere. He has got the Riot and Pitch Invasion Stadium, which I guess is fair enough, but probably a waste. And stats wise, he comes in at again an impressive 42, 21, 18. So leader in the second one here, Circumflex, great name. So yeah, what to say about this Brett team? I don't know. Dreamland's covering his eyes in the chat, but
lost two blitzers last season, right? So
yeah.
that's obviously hurt him a bit, but it's still a solid team.
I mean, I actually think it's probably helped him. Like maybe those, like the blitzers he has left is kind of all he needs, right? The leader, sure hands.
I mean, he does need dodge on the two new blitzers. So.
Yeah. I mean, they'll be slightly better in one more skills time, but like being a bit lower TV is not bad for this team.
Yeah, he's got two superstars. So we should mention that. I mean, again, he's got the diving tackle shadow combination here.
That's the only weakness in this team that I see is only having the one tackle.
Yeah,
but he does have the 4 wrestlers to help take the Dodgers down. But
also the fact that this guy is like he's fulfilling 2 roles at once, because he's your main blitzer, he's your damage piece, but he's also a man marker, right?
He's
so it's
tagger.
like not one or the other.
That does result in him getting extra hits, right? He often is standing next to something that can't punch him back.
But it depends what you're playing against, right? If you're playing against teams that you can bully slightly, then that's a good thing, because you can bring the guards in and kind of keep them in contact. But if you're playing against higher strength teams, then it can
lizards.
Get him into trouble.
He's only got 4 guard as well.
Yeah, 4 guard. The problem is, as like Corn Knight was saying, is he's getting hit more, and when he does go off, that's going to severely hurt this team. Even if it's just a KO, him not being on the pitch and the threat of what he can do slows this team down quite a bit.
Yeah, that's why you're not really getting the most out of the shadowing and the diving tackle skills.
Yep.
In some of the matchups, you're going to be reluctant to expose him.
All his TVs in these first 2 blitzers, aren't they? Really, number 1, so Tane Linot and Circumflex. So yeah, I mean, if you neutralize them by either removing them or
certainly not,
them out, then
certainly not.
Certainly not. Yeah, thank you. So neutralize those players, and he hasn't really got much of a squad to be honest, has he? Really? I mean,
he's got a strength 4.
Yeah, his
blocker,
blockers are
right?
nice. I like his blockers.
Yeah, I mean, he's got two good blockers. One is carrying like a move bust, and the other's a rookie. But still,
but even
it's hard.
Even the move broke one's not bad because it's hard. Firm guard.
It's hard to keep blockers alive in a Brett team. So if you're getting them up to guards down firm and keeping them alive, then that's already huge.
Yeah, because again they get in the mix, don't they? They're well in there. I mean, would you take? And Dodge is a double for blockers, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, I would take it.
You'd take
double,
Dodge, wouldn't you? Yeah, double.
Well, yeah, because it's the one skill that really complements the team. Because you're already having 4 blodgers with the blitzers, so the more dodge, the more Rog or blodge you can add, the better for the team.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, a contender this season? Do you think?
I mean,
I think they'll struggle, but
yeah, I don't think they're a contender for top 3. Maybe for the middle half of the standings, just because everything's tied up in those 2 blitzers, pretty much.
I felt that way about every Brett team I've seen in the champs, and 2 of them have won it whilst seeing that. So I feel like it's too much to write them off, because they are still in the champs.
You can't write them off. You can't write them off, but I just think looking at the state of the team at the moment, the team was in a much better shape last season.
Yeah.
He was in our division, Spydyr, last season as well, and he's just lost a few key players, and I don't know. I think,
there's apart from those 2 blitzers, there's not much there, is there? That's the concern I have for this team, I think.
And he struggled mightily against my Lizards. Like, he did not have a very good game at all. He just couldn't handle any of my players.
Yeah. I mean, I think he'll be all right. Like, against the elf teams, he probably, they're a decent matchup for him. And against me, for example, he has a decent. I find it quite tough with my team against Brett's. But against the higher strength teams, normally you need the 4 developed blitzers against those.
We will see.
We'll see. And that leads us to the second to last team. Nearly got there. This is Kinroth's high elf team. So again, to give the standard introduction to them, they are at.
So we have to wait while Ethelred counts.
Complicated. 1, 2, 3, 4, 12.
13.
13?
12,
12 for game
spaces.
1. They've got 13.
Yeah, count the empty spaces and subtract from 16.
Spydyr, that's what I do
now.
Cornite taught me that last season, but it still takes me a while to actually pass the spaces. Anyway, I've had nearly a bottle of wine now, so I'm a bit drunk. But still,
I know.
Anyway.
I'm interrupting your standard intro, but there's one thing that just jumps straight out about this team, which is just
the amount of guard?
It's an insane amount of guard for an elf team.
Yeah,
that's lovely, isn't it? Really, to see. Let's get back to that in a minute. So he is at 100k in the bank, 1970 with 13 players with a possible.
A new stadium that no one else has got.
He's got.
I saw that.
The Wizard Stadium, which is interesting.
He does.
And he comes in again, another great record, 28-12-12. So 3 re-rolls, Apo, no cheerleaders, no coaches, 9 fan factor. Blitzers are pretty well developed. He's got a beautiful AG5 one here. We've also got leap, which is pretty good, but no tackle on that guy. So I'm doing the head movement that means maybe he should go for tackle next for his last skill, but he's 100 SVP away from that, so that's not that great. Movement 9 catcher, which is good for 1 turns, although obviously he needs a bit of help with that. But he's got sidestep as well, which is pretty good. And a lot of guard, as you guys can see. And maybe best of all, a dirty player liner, which is quite nice as well. So quite a strong.
So
he's a strong coach as well, Kinroth, right?
He's an experienced. He's an experienced elf coach. I think he does play a lot of elves. I'm not sure if he just plays high elves or other elves as well. But so the actual team value is 20,090, right, with the MNG back.
Right.
Yeah.
So wait, Kinroth has played 612 games, and 159 of them have been high elves. Another 97 of them, almost another 100, are dark elves. Another 69 of them pro elves. So his top 3 races are elves.
High, dark, and pro.
And actually, the next is undead. But after that, it's wood. So basically, 4 out of his top 5 are the elves.
Elves, yeah.
Do you think he knows how to play elves?
I reckon he has an idea. Yeah. And I mean, the team is in pretty good shape, right? It's got a couple of red crosses, lacking a little bit of tackle, like we mentioned before.
Just the one.
Yeah, just the one, and his killer is AV busted. So, the guard on the killer. I mean, he's going to have to be careful about where he's putting that as well. I don't mind actually the leap on the Edge 5 because you can use that, for example, to leap into a cage to give your assist if you want to be, using maybe the Juggernaut wrestle catcher is kind of a sack piece, right?
I mean, it really needs another leap piece because one leap guard on its own is not really going to do
but maybe if there's like a situation where it's not quite a tight X cage, but it's a sort of a slightly looser scenario, you could still use the leap to bring that guard to where you need it.
Maybe
is it worth suggesting also that the leap would be really good in one turning, like getting a 2+ to put something in to fill a gap that could really and it being guard as well.
with guard. Yeah.
I mean, I think looking at this team, like my suggestion for number 5 when he gets there, I mean, he's a way off at the moment. He's 37 to 51, but I think this guy could also benefit from leap as well. Because
that would play into the scenario that Dan was talking about.
Yeah.
Leap or strip ball. That's why you're taking Juggernaut for strip ball mostly.
Yeah. Should should Kinroth be looking at a fourth catcher? He's got I think just about got enough cash for them. If I speak English,
I think that the TV is just too high, really, to stick another catcher in.
If he wanted to drop one of the linemen to get the catcher, I would be okay with that.
I don't think it's worth it. I think 3 is a good number to.
But then you're running out of people to put on the line.
On the line of scrimmage, yeah.
Yeah. No, I think 3 is the right number of catchers. Maybe you buy the 4th if one of them gets MNG'd or something. But like the high elves work really well because of their AV8, and 3 catchers is enough.
Yeah.
To fulfill the movement you need and to do special things. But really, a high elf team can do quite well with just blitzers and linemen.
Okay, I mean, I think I know the answer to this because he has got guard, but this this thrower, number 8, he hasn't got leader. He's movement busted, but he has got he is blodge and guard. So I guess you would keep him, but I don't know. That's to me tended towards a bit of bloat with 160 on that piece. I mean, he's got guard, so
it's a blodge. It's basically a lineman with blodge guard, right?
You're going to keep him, but he is overcosted, I think, for what he is.
I don't know.
Well,
I just think the move 5. The fact that you have so much guard, I mean, this player is part of that, right?
Yeah,
so
the guard is.
You can't.
Yeah, I would never.
For defense, he really helps with the guard. For offense, the move 5 doesn't matter because he's throwing the ball across the field anyway. So one extra movement's not going to really stop that.
I'd kind of sided therefore in that maybe with the amount of guard he has, maybe this is your 6th guard player. Is he bringing his value? Because you're probably not trying. You're not going to be fighting a lot of teams.
He's blodge guard, right? I mean, that's where he's bringing the value. Yeah. I mean, because 2 of your guard players or 3 of your guard players don't even have dodge. I mean, one of them is naked.
Yeah.
So he's one of the more robust ones, and he's quite close to another level. And I would give him sidestep personally. Because then, it's a blodge stepping guard, which is just a pain in the arse for a lot of teams to deal with.
Yeah, that's true.
Like I said, on defense, he's a perfect piece, especially with sidestep. And if you pop the ball out, you've got him to pick it up on defense if you need it.
Yeah, I think my only concern with him is he's not a thrower, because you're not going to be using him to throw. You're going to be using him as a guard.
You can still throw with it.
Yeah.
You can, you still have the option of either recovery with him and throwing it to someone, or even just picking it up. You can still easily farm those SPP that he needs by just picking it up at the start of the drive and passing it to a catcher.
Well, on blodge, if you give him sidestep, like Danton mentioned with the blodge on offense, he's got the ball. If they get a hit on it and they don't knock him down, then you sidestep him closer to where you can throw the ball downfield to where he be.
But for example, if he's playing against a team like mine, see, this team can actually bully my team, right? Normally humans are quite good against elves because normally the humans have more of the strength skills, guard and mighty blow.
Guard access, haven't you? Absolutely.
But yeah, because humans have at least 5 typically players who can easily get guard, and some mighty blow and stuff. But here, this team would be completely bullying mine, and that's a matchup where he can carry on that thrower because he can just surround it with a bunch of guard and make it hard for me to get in and actually hit him.
Yep.
It's a good high elf team.
It's great. It's a great high elf team. And I would add this to the list of serious contenders for OCC season 25, I think.
Well, we've only got one more team to look at, and then we can pick who we think is the top 3 each, right?
Okay, so
I've actually got to head off in about 10 minutes, so if we can try and do it quickly.
What? Yeah, is it?
Okay, so if you go out to the overall OCC champs in 1, and then have a look at the so you need to step back 1 more layer.
Yeah.
And then search for NBC in the teams there.
Okay. Oh, hang on.
Sorry, in the coach NBC.
One further down.
Oh,
no. Go back to where you were.
Okay, members, and then NBC here.
Top right. Click on the top right.
There you go.
Now teams. And now coach.
Second box.
Coach.
Actually, you could just put Saber in the.
I got
There
it.
you go.
Saber-Tooth Fadge. This is the last team, right? So this is MB Carmack's team. So let's give him the standard introduction. So he is at 10.
Yeah.
It literally,
See it
I
working.
can hear the hamster on the wheel.
He's got 10 players, so he's due one
Yeah.
more for game one. He has
So
got
1870 TV.
1870 TV. He's got 20k in the bank, so he's not going to make a change on that. Club, he's got the right and pitch invasion cancelled. Stats wise, again, more of a mix 62, 20, 44. 3 rerolls, no coaches, no cheerleaders. There we go, gentlemen. What do you think? I mean, stand out for me straight away is his strength
No
5.
Yeah, so
So-
his actual
Now it's no claw.
the standout is he had a claw
No
bomber,
claw.
and his claw bomber died last game of
He
last
had
season.
he didn't just have a claw bomber. He had a legend who was one
Yep.
of the highest SPP players in the league. Who
Yeah.
died the last game of last season.
Yes.
Oh, what a
Correct.
shame.
Was that Sun Chu or Cho or something like that?
No, clueless Tina.
Oh, Clues Tina. Yeah,
okay.
I played against
Gotcha.
her. I mean,
Yeah.
from memory, she was armor busted for a long time, right? She was armor 7, I think,
Probably, yeah, but still lethal.
and with a niggle
So,
as well, I think. But yeah, absolutely lethal.
pretty. I think everyone's glad that she's no
Yeah.
longer. part of
No,
it.
she wasn't unbusted. She was
But she had a niggle,
pure
right?
and clean. No, she
Oh.
was fine. Death was her only injury. So obviously horns because she's a beastman, and then tackle first skill, and then mighty blow second skill,
Right.
then block, claw, piling on, and jugs as the legend skill. She was 267 SPP in her last game where she died.
Well, we don't miss her at all. I'm sorry, MB Carmack.
Definitely not.
But yeah, we don't miss her at all.
So I mean, he's
Yeah.
he's not a killy team, but he's got a good mix of kind of
Yeah.
toolbox
Yes,
skills,
absolutely.
right? So the four warriors are all decent. I mean, 2 of them with Blodge Guard are annoying. He's got obviously the strength 5 with tentacles. I mean, his warriors can pose a lot of teams problems. He's got the other strength 4 goat with guard. He's got a few tackle pieces. He's got an edge 4. I mean, he's got a little bit of everything.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a pretty well built Chaos team, isn't it? Really?
What he's lacking is kind of fodder to stick on the line, really.
Yeah.
And
And-
claw bomb.
No money to replace right now. Or just
No,
kind
not
of
at all.
get
He's
that
only got
fodder built back
20K.
up.
So
And he's not going to get claw in this league probably in this season because
yeah,
everyone's miles away from level.
Yep.
he's either got to stick like 3 warriors on the line, if he's up against a team that's not that killy, or he's got to stick, like the dirty player, the rookie, and the Rackle go.
The Rackler. Yep.
Yeah, he was literally doing that in the last game of the season.
Well, the first game he'll have a loner. It'll be the dirty player.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he'll have a loner, right?
Yeah.
maybe more if he's against one of the higher TV teams. He'll get some.
Yeah,
other
maybe
stuff.
he'll have some.
Yeah, I mean,
some fodder.
Spider, you got to be happy that there's no claw in this this ensemble here, surely.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Ecstatic.
Like I said earlier, this is the ideal season for the Lizards to make a run at the championship. For me personally, the last 4 times I've been in champs, there's been at least 5 or 6 full claw palm teams, and it's just been murderer's row every single time. Every time I've been in champs, I've come out with a team that was just destroyed, and I had to rebuild them. The only thing that's really survived it has been Sundrop.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's not going to get a lot of inducement. I'm the only one that's going to be given every team a lot of inducements if I don't lose anybody. Everybody else is pretty even besides the 2 low teams of Danton and Trunkhead.
Yeah.
There's 2 or 3 teams that are like just over 2,000, right?
Yeah, just
Especially
if they have their full roster, right?
yeah.
I mean, what's your thoughts on this team, Danton, as well? You must be pretty happy. Again, there's no claw.
It's a tough. For my humans, it's a tough team to face.
Yeah.
It's a tough team for other reasons. Typically, when you face a Chaos team at this level, you're just worried about surviving the claw. This time against this team, you don't have that to worry about. You have very, as Dan said earlier, a lot of good across the board tools that are going to give him solid chances to win in every game.
I mean, like, not against Lizards, but generally Chaos are a strong team that strength bully their opponents and have lots of guards, which this team do. And against humans and the Bretts, probably against the Chorfs too. They're going to be like out strengthening them and getting blocks where their opponents aren't going to be able to get blocks back more often than not. They're not going to be happy to see Lizards twice in this division though.
And typically they're not.
Too.
Yeah, a typical Chaos build, they're not worried about Lizards because they're going to plan on removing a Saurus or two to even the numbers up on the strength side. But with no Claw on this team, he can't rely on that.
Yeah. Maybe a day player.
Yeah, but he's going to be getting inducements, so he can get some bench for that game.
But yeah.
Javelin says you get a normal stop on defense, and this guy just runs through like a plus AG skink on turn 8. I felt that pain, says Javelin.
So yeah, the Agi 4, but really Agi 5 ball carrier.
Yeah. I mean that's how I had highlighted earlier. I mean he's a great player. I mean he's beautifully built. He's going to do his job absolutely perfectly. And as you say, Cornite, he's effectively AG5, isn't he? Because he's got 2 heads. So he's going everywhere on a 2+, more or less, with a reroll.
He's a very good safety on defense as well, and you know you can even use him to kind of dive through a screen to hit a ball carrier. You know, it's very versatile.
Yeah, horns being a great skill on Beastman, right?
Yep,
they're all effectively strength 4.
Yeah. I don't know that graphic, I'll be honest.
Honestly, he's, in my opinion, he's probably the best player on the team.
Yeah. No, I think I agree, Spydyr. I mean, the other one would be Smiley Nick, who's strength 5 and tense, which I think is a great pick. Yeah. But, you know, movement 4, so he can be contained, whereas you're always going to have to deal with Slasher Snout. I mean, he's getting the ball turn 1, and then you got to deal with his dodging bullshit basically for the rest of the drive where you face him. So he's going to be the tough one to face, I guess.
Yep.
For sure, guys.
Top
I've got
threes.
a dash.
Okay,
so let's go
top 3. Go on then. Can you give us yours before you go, Danton?
Yeah. What do you think, Danton?
Can you just show the team list again quickly?
Are you gonna write this down, Corn?
Yeah. I've taken a snapshot of the OCC page where the divisions are listed with the 10 coaches and their teams, and I'm going to use that to note it down in a particularly ugly snipping tool manner.
Danton, we've got the 9 here plus MB Carmack.
Yeah. So I think it's actually really tough to call. I think there's a lot of teams that are in with a shout. I'm actually going to go with Kinross High Elves. I think are really well positioned in terms of the overall kind of makeup of the division. So I'm going to go with Kinross first. I'm going to go with Spydyr second. I think his Lizards are definitely going to be up there, either winning it or very close. And third, may as well go for myself.
I was wondering if you'd go for yourself for third. I think that makes sense.
That's fair enough.
You should put yourself, surely.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I definitely want to aim. I'd be happy with top 3. So yeah, I think winning it, like I said, for my team, I think is going to be really hard. But top 3 I think it's doable.
Spydyr, what do you think?
I like his number 1 and number 2 of Kinroth and me. I really like the High Elves, and I think they're, like he said, in a prime spot. As I also said earlier, I think this is the best shot that the Lizards are ever going to have. So, and obviously, I'm not going to vote against myself. So, myself first, Kinroth second. I'll swap them. And third, I think I'm actually going to go with the Vamps. Kelshad for third. I
Yeah,
think just those vampires are so goofy.
they're strong, aren't they?
And as you guys said, he rolls a lot of dice, and he's gonna be in games with chances to win them. So, and he's been there and won it before, so he obviously knows what he's doing.
Yeah. Cornite.
It's really tough, isn't it? I might,
It is really tough.
I'm gonna go for Nibbenen getting first, just because I think you're all under.
His team is. I remember I picked him to win it when we were in champs together, and he did win it.
Yeah.
I mean, man, he's definitely
Team's good.
in.
Yeah, team's
It's
built
definitely
nice.
well positioned as well to win it again. So that's a solid pick.
And I'm going to go for Kilstad in second. And third, I'll go for Spydyr.
Cool. Ethel?
Okay, Jesus Christ, this is a really tough pick. I'm going to try and be a bit more random than you guys, I think. So
I think we expected that because of the slurring anyway.
Yeah, thanks. We're playing Rocket after this, right?
Yeah, sure. I'm up for that.
So I'm going to go for Elf Brotherhood. So I'm going to go for Kinroth first place. I'm going to go for Spydyr second. I think I agree with him totally that Lizards have got a better chance this season than probably any time before. But I think his team is stronger than Raspel, so I'm going to go for Spydyr second. And third, I'm going to go for Danton.
Yay!
Yeah.
Again, just to mix it up. So yeah, hopefully.
So Ethel and Danton picked the exact same order, eh?
Oh.
Yep. Indeed.
Nice.
That's true. You
Psychic
said you were
link.
going to mix things up, and then you just copied what.
I just copied what Dan said.
Yep.
But
mix it up by doing the same thing, but I didn't notice.
Well, Danton, I'm pretty drunk, Danton, so that wasn't deliberate in any way. But yeah, there we go.
Cheers, Galentia in the chat for giving the human support. We'll see what we can do.
Yeah, Galentia, you should, as you're part of the betting ring now, you should let us know what you think in your chat, and anyone else in the chat as well should also let us know what you think. And I'm sure Cornite can record it on his special pad for
nice
for the season to come.
Just a quick glance at it, I'm the only one picked from all four of us. That's awesome. Now I've got a lot of pressure not to let everybody down.
Well,
seriously, though, Spydyr,
you've got a shot for sure.
You've got a shot
guys,
for sure.
Sorry, I really have to drop, but you guys obviously carry on.
Yeah, no thanks, Danton. No worries.
Have a good one, Dan.
Cheers, guys. See you soon. Bye.
But yeah, I mean,
I will say, if going into week 8 I'm 7-0-0, I will feel very confident that I'm going to win.
Yeah, I somehow think that's less likely than in tier 1.
Yeah, I agree completely. Especially with this set of these teams are really good. I almost took Nibbenen in third, but I just Kilstad's Vamps are so crazy.
Yeah, Kinroth's good as well, but I didn't want to I didn't want to actually do the same as everyone else, so that's probably why I didn't pick him.
It's tough.
But,
okay,
that high elf team is amazing.
Yeah, Galentia said Danton first, second Lizards, but hasn't specified which, and third High Elf.
Do you want to be specific about which Lizards, Galentia?
Yeah, there's 2 Galentias, Spydyr and Raspel.
Should we just assume Spydyr? Or should we just assume Raspel to spread the votes around?
Yeah. I think I think Raspel's got a really good chance. I mean, I voted for Spydyr
his team's
he's
not
on the team, but he's
not
in a bad position at all, I don't think.
Yeah. I put my team next to his in an even matchup, and I think if the dice are average across the board, my team's just got a little bit of an edge because of Sundrop and the 3 edge skinks.
Yeah. Galentio says Spydyr rather than
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's easiest to say who's going to struggle. I think Trunkhead's going to struggle because I don't think their team. He's a good coach. He's a good coach. Let's say that first of all. But his team isn't sufficiently built enough, I don't think, to compete properly in this division.
And I would say the same for Lasker. Great coach.
I agree.
And obviously the Bretts can be in every game, but only having The 2 leveled
on the
blitzers
2,
is
isn't
going to
it?
make it tougher for him, I think. Yep.
But everyone else, I mean, apart from those 2, I think everyone else has got a strong chance of winning because
I do have to say the one team that's
the one team
that scares me the most is the High Elves. That team is just really well built. That's a nasty team.
I think that's the thing as well, because with AG teams, they've always got a chance. Always got a chance, because when you're AG4 and you're relying on 2+s, then I think you've always got a chance. He's got a big chance because he's got a big squad. AG5 is in there, but yeah. Sorry, Spider.
All the guard, definitely. But the one thing that we did touch on it with his team, but we kind of glossed over it, that will be interesting if he keeps, is the Wizard Stadium.
I mean, like he's the high TV team. This is like the reason you take the Wizard Stadium is so that you get a Wizard when you're the high TV team.
To neutralize when you're giving everybody else a Wizard, except for against me. So against me, he's actually gonna neutralize that matchup for us.
I mean, assuming he's at home for that matchup. So, you know.
Yeah, right, and assuming that RTV are still the same.
Yeah, it's worth getting a Wizard in 7 other matches that he wouldn't get a Wizard in,
as opposed to mine.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, 7 versus 1 is definitely the smarter choice for sure.
Yeah.
It'd be an interesting matchup, though.
Yeah, Glentia says he'd move the guard from the thrower and I think one of the blitzers to lineman. And yeah, I that's fair enough. I think. I mean, I think you missed it, Glentia. We were talking about the throwers' validity on the team, but because he's guard blodge, I mean, he absolutely stays on the squad. I think, but
if only you got to choose. If only you could.
Yeah, if only you could choose whether skills.
Actually, it did make me think. If that was a killer, if you were building that blitzer to be a killer, that second double would be piling on, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's true. That actually. It's interesting he didn't choose.
Yeah, it would have been pile on instead of guard. Well, it depends on if he already had the armor break or not. If he already had the armor break, then I'd say no piling.
Piling on is such a massive game changer, though.
It is, but if you're piling on with armor 7, I mean, you're already inviting the fouls as a pile-on piece. With armor 7, you definitely are.
I play Norse, so I observe.
You know better than anybody,
yeah.
I mean, they're all dead. I wonder why.
Yeah, but it must have been. I mean, like we say, we don't know when it came in, but it must have been tempting to go for the piling on. But
you forgot me in the legend
corner. Oh, you're right. So I did. Sorry, I did.
Oh, is that on the stream? Glentia says thick skull, maybe 7.
Yeah.
But yeah,
actually, I've taken on Kimry that where I've had Tomb Guardians that were skilled up nicely that took an armor break. I've taken thick skull on them. Armor 8 Tomb Guardian with thick skull is not a bad run to have, especially if they're already like guard stand firm.
No, but it's normal as well, right? It's not double, so
yeah, it's a normal. Yeah. Obviously, I wouldn't do it if they were just one skill or no skills, but ones that are already guard stand firm or block guard or something like that. You're keeping those guys at armor 8.
I mean, the amount of blood step you can, if you got piling on, you could protect it. You only pile on when you know that you can put some blood step around it.
Yeah.
But anyway,
you're gonna be more judicial with the pylon. You're not gonna just on a whim. I'm piling on every time.
It's a scalpel rather than a saber.
Yeah. Good analogy.
Where are we going with this? Okay, so I think we're done. We started at 10:30 more or less, and it's 1:30 in the morning somehow now. It's probably tea time for you, Spider? Not sure.
A little late, but yeah.
So yeah, I think that's more or less it. I doubt anyone else is streaming Core Night on Blood Bowl.
It's the first day of CCL, so everyone is streaming.
Are you going to start streaming Spider into CCL? In which case, if you want to set it up, we'll follow you. But if not, then
I'm done with CCL until Blood Bowl 3, assuming CCL carries over.
I mean, you say that, but could be a long time.
Could be a long time.
Yeah, it's
Well, you
possible,
tell us.
yeah.
You tell us, Spider.
But
How long it's
anyway,
gonna
so the choices to raid are Jimmy, Mr.
Right.
Page,
Yep.
Necronome, Sky Blue Monty, Jalev, Tren, Quick Draw.
be. Well, how many viewers? How many viewers do we have? Like 3, 2.
We've got
None?
quite a few at the moment. It's
Oh,
like
okay.
7, 8, something like
Oh,
that.
well, it should be Monty. It's always got to be Monty, hasn't it? Because he's a
Monty.
legend.
Okay. Cool.
I'd
Sky-
say either him or Necronome. Necronome's a pretty good guy.
I met Necronome at the UKTC. He
Right,
was
we'll do
really nice.
we'll do Necronome then because
And his beard isn't fake.
Yeah, he's got a nice beard. Yeah.
yeah,
it-
we'll do
it-
Necronome
like-
then because
It looks really fake on his camera because his camera's not great, but it's an insane beard.
Yeah.
well, thank you, Spider. Thank you, Cornite, even, and thank you, Danton, of course, who's gone. But yeah, hopefully this will be a regular thing. Maybe not 3 hours, but
Well, we won't have quite the in-depth review from after the first
No.
one. So
Yeah.
I think we've done all the teams justice though. So yeah, thank you, Weblin, as well for your chat.
And drunk a bottle of wine in the process.
I've drunk a bottle of wine in the process as well, which is
and,
pretty impressive.
and 4 Black Russians from me, or the equivalent of.
So
two pints of Black Russians from me.
what better chance, Cornite, as I show my Xbox controller to the stream, have us to get out of Gold Division on Rocket League. Do you play Rocket League, Spider?
no, I do not.
Oh, you don't. Well, you should.
It's fun.
'Cause it's
Right
good.
now, all my time is devoted to law.
Yeah.
So
That's fair enough. You got a house to build, so I'm sure you're looking
yeah,
at plans.
and that.
Sorry, I know that you cut out during the game. I didn't actually hear what you said. What was it?
Yeah.
Lost Ark.
Oh, Lost Ark. Okay.
Ah.
Oh, and Weblin said, "Great stream, guys." I saw you were lurking there, but thanks for
Yeah, thanks
finally
for
saying hi. And I hope you saw the stream this at lunchtime when we looked at your team. I think, right?
Yeah, we did.
He's in one of our divisions.
He is.
Yep.
Anyway, we're about to raid over, whether we like it or not, because the time's about to run out. So say goodbye.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone. Thank you. Peace and love.
Okay, button has been pressed.
Okay, let's
Nice.
press stop stream.